help us tell the GR story.
You're right.
We need more cars.
GT Radio. Experience ultra high performance.
For those who don't settle when others do. Who will give everything but won't give up. For those who believe in unlimited while others limit themselves. For those who are set free by performance and believe innovation can take you anywhere.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Air Force, Aim High. Type S, official lighting sponsor of Formula Drift. Lights, camera, power, fun. GT Radial, experience the performance.
At O'Reilly Auto Parts, we know how important it is for your car to look sharp and run well. And we're here to make that as simple as possible. Get all the parts, accessories, and tools you'll need for your next project delivered right to your doorstep. Just place your order online and leave the rest to us. You'll have everything you need at your door with free shipping the very next day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The first time you try Pedal Commander, you'll feel... Oh, yeah.
Made in Japan. Breed.
Your future in high-performance motorsports begins at the University of Northwestern Ohio.
There is no other school like UNOH to teach you the things, not only for Monster Jam, but for the hot rod community.
With 70% hands-on learning, no out-of-state tuition, and top-of-the-line instructors, you'll go from learning to earning with the industry leader in motorsports education.
I love waking up to come to school.
This facility here has all the tools and instructors and knowledge that you need to go out and be successful in the field.
Your journey to the fast lane begins at UNOH.
Booyah.
The Formula Drift Championship heads across the country to the Pacific Northwest at Evergreen Speedway. The battle in Seattle, as it's known, begins now.
What it do? I'm in my zone. 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 I'm in my zone.
Look at this backdrop. A beautiful day here at Evergreen Fairgrounds. Oh my gosh, Evergreen Speedway, Monroe, Washington. How are we doing out there in Seattle? Make some noise. You can feel this all the way across the country. Round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. This is the throwdown. I like to call it the battle in Seattle. The battle just outside Seattle, Monroe, Washington, just north of it. But I'm Jared Deanna, and joining me to my side, doing double duty, he is my co-host as well as one of the 3 judges, Ryan Lontaine. Ryan, again, a heat wave, but then it cooled down a little bit just as we flew in, so you're welcome that we brought some coolness here in more ways than one. But speaking of cool, Ryan Lontaine, again, you are a busy man here this weekend, but what do you make of Seattle, and where does this track rank on your overall list?
Well, I like this track for the speed, Jared. It's that big outside zone 1 area that really makes it exciting. You can get up on the wall, and then it tightens up. I think that's the best flow that we have, you know, in our track. So I really like Seattle, and I'm loving the weather.
Yeah, it's absolutely ideal. I'm going to go golfing tomorrow, so I'm pretty stoked.
Oh, lucky.
Perfect, ideal golf weather. But we're going to, speaking of teeing it up, let's talk about yesterday, knockout qualifying, and we have a repeat customer in Kazuya Taguchi, man. He gets the perfect event in St. Louis, and he backs it up with another Ichiban finish. Or not a finish, but a start. He qualifies number 1.
Yeah, great job from Taguchi. You can see he's high on the wall. He's putting the car in all the right places in this run. The only one little bobble I can see is right there through the whole run. So really high level run here, getting close on outside zone number 3. That was a tricky area for some drivers, but he showed exactly where to place his car all the way through the track. You can see him getting nice and wide on zone 4. And next up, we have Matt Field, who I believe qualified second, right? So yes, he's looking really strong as well. And you can see that he's placing his car again in the right spot, high on the wall, big angle, a couple little movements in the car, but that's where those deductions came in. So I believe he ended up with around a 90-point run.
Yeah,
and then we
90,
got.
And you got to think, sorry to cut you off there, he was the first out of the gate. So he set the bar pretty high because Taguchi delivered, and again, he was top 10. Frederick Aasbo.
Yeah,
qualifies 3rd.
3rd place qualifier here. So you see exactly what it is that these drivers need to do in the lead position. The angle, the fluidity throughout the course, kind of carrying that momentum in the right areas, staying on throttle and making it look really, really smooth. So
and then Ryan Turk qualifies 4th, and you got to think, you know, Field, Aasbo, Turk, Forsberg, Chelsea, right? I mean, all those guys are kind of in the mix, but you can see right there, those are our current standings. Look at Dylan Hughes. You know, Dylan Hughes, who notably got the win in Orlando. That was absolutely amazing. And, you know, before we get into our event here, we kind of look at the past and all the future, let's talk about this track. Throw it down to another member of our broadcast team, Laurent Nickel, who is with the 3-time champ Forsberg.
Jared, thank you very much. Chris Forsberg, we're so glad to see that smile on his face because last round in St. Louis was a disaster for you. Yeah, there you go. Could you give us a recap of what happened and the state your car's in now?
Yeah, sure. So in St. Louis, we saw a little material in the oil when we're doing our Thursday night check on the car before the competition weekend, and we decided to pull the engine, put the spare in so that we wouldn't have a catastrophic failure. However, we put the spare in. We ran all Friday just fine with it, but first lap, Saturday morning, we basically had an issue with our nitrous solenoid, and it got stuck, and we basically detonated the motor, and we hurt the motor, lost the cylinder. And we tried frantically to get the most out of it. We pulled the spark plug, tried to run on 5, but we had, just a big boost leak because of it. And so we didn't even get like our first full pass with Jonathan Hurst. And so I didn't even take my second run, my lead run, to potentially have the same issue. So we just kind of bowed out. Top 32 out, very unfortunate. However, we got the car all back together. The original motor that's been in the car all season got a refresh. It's back in the car. It's looking 100%. And we came out, we qualified 3rd yesterday, so it's our best qualifying position of the year so far. So we're feeling really confident, really strong for today's competition.
Yeah, and you have a lot of history, a lot of experience on this track here outside of Seattle. So can you talk to us about what your expectations are?
Oh yeah, it's nuts. We're trying to get the car to be as predictable as possible. It's actually got more grip than our previous setup, so I was actually struggling the first part of practice yesterday. I kept coming up short on outer zone 2 because the car would actually slow down and hook that right into the infield better than I expected it. So I had to kind of keep pushing deeper and deeper into the braking zone, and it's just got a lot of drive, a lot of grip. And so once we kind of harnessed that up, got that good qualifying spot, we had a great practice today, and yeah, I mean, the car is definitely locked in for competition. So we have podiumed here multiple times. We've won here a couple times. And yeah, this is really a deciding event, I would say, for the overall championship. You really see it kind of lay out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And since we have this round and 2 rounds left, are you thinking about Irwindale at this point?
Not thinking about Irwindale, but we're thinking about getting back into that top 3. We went from 3rd to only 4th with our top 32 out last round, so it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. There's a lot of other drivers that went out pretty early, so we only dropped 1 position, so we're looking to get back in that top 3. That's our goal. Championship would be amazing. Obviously, we're pushing as hard as we can to win every event every time. However, trying to be, mindful of what is possible in the overall points. It's going to take, the top 3 guys are rippers, so they're going to have some serious issues for us to be able to surpass all of them. And we got a couple guys nipping at our heels to try and get that top 3 as well. So the goal is getting back in 3rd, and we're shooting for it today.
Chris, thank you so much. Lucky number 3 as he qualified in 3rd place today, guys.
Thank you so much, Lorette. Some great insight there from the 3-time champ, talking about, as you said, his best qualifying this season. And let's take a look at our Tuerck Drift course preview. Here's Odie Bakchis. Ryan, if you could walk us through the outside zones and the singular inside clip.
Yeah, the drivers need to get really high on this wall here. You can see rubbing the bumper actually disappearing into the wall here. We want them just to scrape that wall all the way around with the left rear of the bumper. Come inside to outside zone number 2 right here. This is some crazy angle in the video game. Big transition here to outside zone number 3. They need to get up to that wall. They need to be confident. They need to look really set and throwing the car at that wall, not hitting it, but just grazing it with the bumper. Nice and tight and inside clip number 1. Transitioning here to zone 4, and this is a tricky spot because of the way the arc joins up with the wall there. So tricky spot at the finish line.
And you're taking a look at this overall, and here are the keys to victory success, because yesterday was about success. Today, it's about victory because podium is kind of in their grasp.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, that high on outside zone 1, but it has to start with that big initiation. Nice flick to initiation, get the car rotated, or handbrake, whichever one they want to do, but they have to do it quick and accurate. And then you get that tire on the line and outside zone 2. That's a tricky spot. We've got some new markers there.
Yeah, I love those.
On the outside of the outside zone number 2, and it really helps them see over top the smoke line. And then we've got those big transitions that we want to see in the infield, and then you want to get to those outside zone 3 and outside zone 4 walls with confidence.
Yeah, I like those outside zone 2. I call them the lanterns. They're hanging above, so it's a good indicator for the drivers. Here's the brackets. This is how it's shaping up at 32. Obviously, the bracket is pretty large there, but notably, Kazuya Taguchi, that number 1 qualifier. But the big one is Matt Field versus Odie Bakchis. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be the 5th battle into 32. That has massive repercussions. Here we are, round 6, only 2 rounds left. And keep in mind, Utah's up next. Nobody's ever competed at that event or that venue. And then finally, Irwindale, which
it's always a barn burner.
That's our hallowed grounds, But here we are, Kazuya Taguchi versus Dan Burkett. Dan Burkett barely just getting, and originally from here in Washington, now live in Southern California for pretty much ever, as long as I've known him. But Kazuya Taguchi, so much momentum, so much confidence, and again, back-to-back #1 qualifying positions. That has just got to be so great for this Up Garage ISR Performance GT Radial driver of this 86. Dan Burkett, beautiful looking, always in that Mark IV Toyota Supra. The gear wrench, Rad Industries Toyota Supra will be chasing him down. So let's see, again, Dan Burkett barely got into the top 32. It was kind of pins and needles there with Trenton Beecham, almost knocking him out, but here he is. He's in it to win it. Let's see if he's going to win it. Kazuya Taguchi coming down the straight now, launching into that first outside zone, officially turning the wheels here in Seattle. Kazuya Taguchi, big angle there. Dan Burkett needs to be a little bit higher. Kazuya Taguchi still maintaining, riding that high line, coming to that second outside zone. Absolutely spot on with that second outside zone. Looks like Brad Dan needs to get a little more pressure to the side of the 86. Nice job, and there it is. Dan does dive in on that last outside zone, but what a great way to start. Again, most recent winner in St. Louis, back-to-back #1 qualifier, and Dan Burkett who's going for it.
Here he is. Yeah, Taguchi right here, he needs to run that basically what he ran in qualifying, and he's doing it. You can see there an outside zone 1, really high in the zone. Right there next to him is Burkett on a slightly tighter line, but not too serious. He's doing a pretty good job here of maintaining proximity. A couple of little bobbles there approaching outside zone 2. Great transition from Taguchi to outside zone 3. Dan's a little bit inside. He's not able to get all the way wide on zone 3. And right here you can see Taguchi, great job through zone 4, taps the wall, straightens ever so slightly, just loses a bit of angle there through zone 4. And you can see Dan's right there next to him. So Taguchi may have pushed a little too hard in zone 4, did that little wall tap, and of course that's going to take away slightly from his lead run because he did lose some angle as he crossed the finish line.
Yeah, all these things are taken into consideration. You know, lead versus lead, chase versus chase, all these elements combined. Like I said, with Ryan Sage now assuming the role of president, co-founder with Jim Lau stepping down as president, Ryan Sage, I say all that because here you are next to me in the booth and just going straight to the horse's mouth, not calling you a horse, but you are a judge. So going straight to the judge's mouth and getting all the insight directly from you and alongside your judges. And sometimes you don't see eye to eye on things, you see certain things or you're focused on particular elements, but I think it's a great tool to utilize you as far as insight. Here we go, Dan Burkett leading. Good initiation by Dan Burkett. You saw that right to angle, that's what we're looking for. Get to it quickly, and Kazuya Taguchi, you can see him take a little angle out of gaining proximity, but he does need to mimic that angle. And Taguchi goes off course. Holy cow. He is going absolutely on the inside. I want to run that back and see, was he hit, was he impeded, or he just pushed too hard? He might have got blinded by the smoke. Again, pure speculation at this point. I'm looking with my naked eye over to the right and then also look at the replay. Definitely want to run that back.
I think you're right, Jared. It looked like Taguchi just got lost in the smoke and couldn't see where he was on the track and didn't track in there for outside zone #2 and instead stayed a little bit too wide. So let's watch it through the drone here, which will give us everything we need to see kind of above the smoke. But great job from Dan on initiation. He's really high on outside zone 1. Taguchi's right there with him, nice and close. Watch right here. Dan gets himself... Yeah, we'll have to look at that. Well, it looked like Dan went a little bit wide as he was leaving outside zone #1 and maybe tried to stay on the track there. I'm not saying he decelled aggressively, but maybe he had a bit of a decel there as he comes off of outside zone #1. You can see he angles up quite a bit. And right there, you can see he goes wide before the zone. So it looked like Taguchi was trying to mimic him and maybe was trying to avoid contact with him in that area. But these are all maybes. We have to figure out exactly what happened here and find, not fault necessarily, but see why it is that Taguchi went off. And Taguchi's car's on fire there, by the way. That looked pretty cool. The whole left rear of the car was flaming up. So
and this is where all the replays, go ahead and analyze. Do your job, and the task at hand is basically you judging. But you can see Dan Burkett, like you said, it's all these different perspectives. This is what the judges need to analyze. Who's at fault. And again, the scenarios here is we know that Taguchi goes off course. Was he impeded by Dan going long? Did he just kind of make a mistake on his own accord? That's what gets analyzed here. And again, I'm just kind of laying out, letting you, Ryan Lantagne, and the other 2 judges, Chris Yule and Brian Egger. I failed to introduce them earlier, but our 3 judges who have been for a few years, Chris Yule, Brian Egger, and Ryan Lantagne. So you could see, again, that Kazuya Taguchi, most recent winner in St. Louis, round 5. And here we are, like we said, quickly, we're already here at round 6, round 7 and 8 still remaining. And this course always just, you know, just has a very interesting vibe coming into it. There are the outside zones. And outside zone 1, obviously that big bank there, and you want to see them, as we said, those keys to victory, get high in the bank with that angle. We saw Taguchi kind of take a little bit of angle out of it, gaining that proximity. It looked like he was dropping in formation, going to outside zone 2 into what I call the power alley. They go into outside zone 3 with that transition, tighten it up to the inside clip, and it really tightens up to outside zone 4. And also keep in mind that big bank, that initiation on outside zone 1. I was talking with Dylan Hughes yesterday at the end of the not-so-great 8 and not K&N knockout qualifying, but it's not a perfectly round bank. It kind of kink. It has, it kind of abruptly kind of, if you look at it from the overhead, again, make note of it. It's not just a clean, nice arc like you're using kind of a protractor there. It kind of has some undulations in it. So, again, Chris Yule, Ryan Latte, and Brian Eggert scrutinizing the runs, and that was both of the battles there. So, again, that was both of the battles. An outcome needs to be dictated here. Lantain, I'd let you go wrap out with your peers over here, your fellow judges. What's the consensus here?
Well, we're looking to see the attitude of the lead car. So Dan Burkett in this situation is supposed to leave outside zone 1 where it ends and get to outside zone 2. And in this situation, we want to look at the momentum, the pace of his car. And right there, it looks like he sort of angles up a bit and tries to avoid going off the track. And in the chase position, Taguchi doesn't really have anywhere to go there. And it looks like he's avoiding hitting Burkett. That's what it sort of looks like to me. So in that area, he overshot outside zone 1 and he didn't leave it where he was supposed to. He went really wide, and you could tell that he slowed down there to try to avoid going off the track, which he did. He stayed on course, but in the chase position now, you're putting a lot of pressure on that chase car to stay close and not make contact, and also try to avoid, going off the track. But in this case, that's what happened. He had to avoid that contact and potentially went off the course there. So,
all right, waiting for the judges here. And again, thank you for the elaboration. I know you talked to your fellow judges. Let's see what we got here. Hey, round of applause for both the drivers if you're here in the building, or if you're at home. You know what? Go ahead, let your neighbors hear you. A beautiful looking crowd out here. Let's take a look. Slide them left for Taguchi, right for Dan Burkett. We got 1, 2, and Dan Burkett gets the victory. So 2-1. And Ryan, you're, let's call it what it is, the outlier. There's Dan Burkett. You can see him congratulating Taguchi. So there it is, a #1 qualifier, getting knocked out. The momentum stops here, but again, you're the outlier. Justify, I think you pretty much did, though.
Yeah, no, I explained my position in this situation. They disagreed with me, and that's totally fine. That's why there are 3 of us here. So I saw it as an error on Dan Burkett's fault on his driving there. He didn't quite leave outside zone 1 properly, and he didn't, it's my fault.
I know. We're hearing audio over here.
Yeah, so that's what happened there.
All right, we're in the Rockstar Energy Drink Top 32. Eve Meyer, Dean Kearney. Brian Eggert, down to you real quick. What was your consensus there?
I mean, we watched it. I couldn't see any type of hesitation or anything on his part where he was slowing down. I think he ran the zone and came off fine. I mean, he did make a slight adjustment, but I don't think it was enough to warrant him being something that was something that would put Taguchi in a bad situation. I think he was just running it a little bit too razor sharp and on the edge with him, and by doing that, it set him up for something where if there was a mistake or some type of minor adjustment, he wasn't in the right place to be able to adapt to it quickly enough, I think.
All right, appreciate the insight there. And again, outnumbered there, a majority rule, so Dan Burkett gets the victory, knocking out our most recent winner, but you can see the congratulations there. Dan Burkett gets the win, Rad Industries, Gear Wrench Toyota Supra. We're seeing Eve Meyer and Dean Kearney. This is a fairly equally matched battle here as they qualified 16th and 17th, so right next to each other. These guys are neighbors, and Eve Meyer in that Gazoo Racing, Toyota Switzerland 86, Dean Kearney, the Hyper NFT.io, taking the hypercars to the hyper metaverse. All right, we are sending cars. Cars are ready. You can see Dan Burkett making his way back. And here we are with Eve Meyer and Dean Kearney. See how they go through the start chicane. That chicane is meant to pair them up, not a drag race to that first initiation point, just as Eve Meyer slingshots his way in. Good angle from Eve Meyer. Dean Kearney, he is absolutely mimicking the angle, but he needs to get closer to Eve Meyer if he wants to leave this not in the judges' hands. I mean, look at how thick that smoke is, Ryan. Just when they cut through, that's got to just be so difficult going through that power alley. You're looking out your window, smoke's being thrown in your door, and a great run there from Eve Meyer out front. Great run from Eve. Let's take a look at it again. Here we go. Eve out front and Dean Kearney in the chase.
Yeah, that might have been one of the best runs we saw from Eve. He qualified 16th, which may be one of his higher qualifying positions, but look how he's getting himself up on outside zone 1 here. And you can see, like you said, Dean Kearney on the same line, maybe slightly lower, but just not in proximity. We'd like to see him a lot closer there. And Yves Meyer gets into outside zone 2, but Dean does not get into outside zone 2. Better job through outside zone 3. Great mimic on transition there as they go to outside zone 4. So Dean needs to be closer in the chase position. You know, he's putting together good transitions, mimicking what he's doing, but needs to be closer. So as we flip the positions here, Eve to have an advantage chase to chase now. If he can do close to what Dean Kearney was doing in terms of mimic, but closer, he's going to have an advantage chase to chase. So right now, it looked like Yves Meyer's car was fast right there. He was able to, stay ahead of Dean Kearney with that big V10. So let's see what happens when he's in the chase position behind that car.
Yeah, like you said, this is probably one of the best. Oh, we got contact there.
Well, Yves Meyer was definitely not where he should be.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, so at initiation, the chase car needs to give the lead driver the space to do whatever type of initiation they want to do. So that means if the lead driver wants to do a flick at initiation, which means get angle in the car in one direction before they initiate, it's sort of that Scandinavian flick that we all know and love. But if the chase car is right next to him, you could see on run-up, Yves Meyer was actually ahead of Dean Kearney for a little while. And you could see clearly Dean did not have the space to do that initiation. So the eye in the sky right now is going to give us a great view of what occurred. Right there, you can see Yves is ahead of Dean. Dean goes in to make his initiation, and well, Yves is right there.
I think Dean honestly risked it. He knew he was out there, but hey, man, you're in my way. This is a mosh pit. You know, you go to punk rock show and you're gonna get smashed if you're up front stage. And that's unfortunately Yves Meyer was right on the rail and he caught the Viper with the fangs, baby. Watch this. So hey,
you see right rear wheel to front left wheel, and you can see Dean's car kind of flew in the air there. The, rubber to rubber kind of lifted Dean's Viper up off the ground. So Dean is going to definitely want to look at that car, and right now we're going to have an assessment of fault. And as I explained it, it should be Dean Kearney that gets to fix his car without any kind of competition timeout taken.
Yeah, and if we look at that again, was Dean initiating at the point because you and the judges, the drivers need to initiate at the point of no return. Basically, the 3-2-1 cones, they need to initiate no later than that number 1 cone, and it seemed like he was going at it. I mean, initiating on that straightaway, and the 3-2-1 cones, you could see them, they're green. So let's take a look at it again. Did Dean initiate at the right point? Was he too late? I'm again just analyzing this.
Right. Yeah, he's plenty early. That's right before the 3, and that's where a driver would go down the track, inside the track a little bit before driving up to initiation. So that is right in the heart of where that would occur. So definitely, Dean was totally in his right here to do that move. When they're driving these cars, somebody might say, well, didn't he see him there? As you're accelerating up, you're looking forward. Of course, you've got your peripheral vision, but remember, these drivers have helmets with Hans devices and halo seats. So your peripheral vision is blocked somewhat by all of those things. So as he's driving up, he's going to go, this is where I initiate. I go down to the right, and then I'm going to initiate to the left. So that's clearly what happened.
And the other scenario here is he saw Yves Meyer go ahead of him, and so I would have to assume Yves Meyer is at fault. And now with that being said, basically the run comes to a halt. So yeah, go ahead and submit, and we will find out. So that's a run. It's not go fix your car and do it. He impeded on the run. It's over. That's it. So they left the start line.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was so caught up in the moment thinking, okay, who does what now? And it's like, oh wait, that was the second run of the battle.
That's the second run. It's unfortunately with Yves had a great lead run.
He had an amazing lead run. He did. Yeah.
And there it is. Dean Kearney gets the win. The HyperNFT.io Viper, not the way you want to get him. Again, Yves Meyer, a great lead run. Well, as we get prepared for our next battle, I'll throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette.
Guys, Kazuya Taguchi, we know that he was just surpassed by Dan Burkett, and this sport has high highs and low lows, and he's having a meeting with his team right now. You told me you got lost in the smoke.
Yes, the place where I put the car behind the dam was really bad, and that was my mistake. Then I lost his tire smoke, and then my view was all of his smoke, almost 0% view. Yeah, I should have drove like more chill, but I wanted to show like more good battle, good tandem for spectators. So yeah. So I'm still learning. So I'm gonna come back more stronger next round.
Yeah, absolutely, and we know that. He told us that he drove at 100% and he should have gone about 80%, but learning lessons every round, Kazuya Taguchi, guys.
Thank you so much. And just, you know, it seems that a spotlight has really just shined brighter on Kazuya Taguchi, and I love it. I'm here for it, and there's a lot of fans that are here for it as well, and just a great spirit. So definitely go by and see Kazuya Taguchi during a halftime break. Give him a high five and a handshake, and he's got a cool cardboard standout. But just, again, just one of those rising stars that's really coming together and coagulating as far as a Formula Drift superstar. All right, our next battle was to be Ken Gushi versus Ryan Littrell. Unfortunately, Ryan Littrell is unable to run in his Power Stop Brakes S15. So Ken Gushi will get a bye run, so I'll lay out and listen to the OG that is Ken Gushi. This Modi's 3s Racing, Gazoo Racing 86, brand new build, just got debuted at round 2 and seems to be finding that sweet spot, but great looking car. So I'll lay out and listen. Sounds of the sports, Kenshiro Gushi. Absolutely awesome. So again, a brand new debuted vehicle. It's a turbo V6. So this is out of Tacoma, an FJ Cruiser, that V6 engine, and I think it sounds really unique. The car aesthetically looks good, and the man behind the wheel is just even better. Just a solid cat, been banging away since '04 in the Formula Drift Championship. Our next battle was going to be another Toyota, and that was going to be Frederick Aasbo going against Josh Love, and Josh Love is calling a competition timeout. So that is our NGK competition timeout, and you can see the bracket, how it's shaping up. We see Burkett, Kearney, Gushi, and our next battle was to be Love. And speaking of NGK competition timeout being called by Joshua Love, do spark plugs time out? They sure do, and timely spark plug replacement not only prevents fouling and provides the best engine performance, it ensures less repair time and can save you money on unnecessary repairs. Visit ngksparkplugs.com to learn more about OE suggested spark plug intervals and find the best plug for your engines. NGK, the ignition specialist. So here's the battle that we've been waiting for. This is the, no, sorry, psych, just kidding. Oh yeah, no, it is. It's the frenemies battle. It's the frenemies battle. Here we go, I was advancing on, but Matt Field, Odi Bakchis. These guys have been creating a video series. They are having a lot of fun, either it be here at FD or different track events or Grid Life and all those kind of things, but Matt Field and Odi Bakchis, not only is it a frenemies battle, but coming into this round of competition, we talk about Matt Field leading the pack and hunting down the championship, and Odi Bakchis coming into this round was 7th in points. 7th in points. Matt Field leads, and what's the point differential there? 116 points. This is huge. I mean, mind you, this is, there's 3 rounds, including this round, left in the championship.
Yeah, but if you look at the spread in points, like you said, 116 points, one win takes 100 points off of that deficit.
Yeah.
Right, if Field goes out right away, and theoretically if Odi wins, that gives him an extra 100 points. That could, that's going to change so much.
Yeah.
But either way, this battle right now is going to have big implications on what's going on. So, if you look at the point spread, 2nd to 3rd place, 3 points difference right there. So there's a lot that can move around in this round.
All right, well, we talked about Josh Love calling the competition timeout. Lorette's with him now.
Josh is sitting in his car right now. Josh, why did you call the 5?
We started having some power steering issues this morning. Every time we started spinning the wheel, it seemed like the belt was slipping. We noticed the power voltage out of the alternator was dropping, so it looks like they're going to swap an alternator right now. Hopefully we get that back on within the 5 minutes. So, yeah.
Do you believe the team can do that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They've already had all this stuff apart this morning. They should be able to get it done in just a couple minutes, so hopefully we'll be out there.
Perfect, Josh. Thanks so much. We're looking at the clock right now. Kevin Wells has it on his phone. 3:40 left. Guys?
Thank you so much, Lorette. So 3 minutes, 40 seconds left. Alternator, Josh Love, absolutely lovable individual. And you can see the crew getting it
dialed. Alternator looks like already strapping it back in, and we're good to go. Look at that. Again, you know, you see the driver, you see the, you know, some of the crew guys, but there's just that whole system, that whole team behind the scenes that thrashes to get things done, especially during those competition timeouts. Here we go, the frenemies, Matt Field, Odi Bakchis. Corvette versus Nissan, but both of them running the heart of an American LS power plant. So this should be a fun one. Number 1 and number 7 in the rankings coming into this round of competition. This should be a good one. Like you said, here we are in the Rockstar Energy Drink top 32. Saw Matt Field pull over there and just pass Odi Bakchis. And interesting enough, they ended up here, if you didn't watch K&N knockout qualifying yesterday, Matt Field, first driver to have his qualifying run. He came out of the gate with a 90 and held on to the number 4 spot overall after all the dust settled. Odi Bakchis on his first qualifying run, awesome run, doing great, hits all the outside zones until the last outside zone, the car shuts off, the motor shuts off, and it straightens out, boom, that's an incomplete. So he has to go to the not so great 8, as they lovingly have called it. There's only 4 spots left, 8 drivers go. Odi Bakchis gets that number 1 spot of the final 8, right? But he can only get as high as 29th. That's why this scenario has been created between these two weapons of drivers.
Yeah, this is going to be something to watch right now.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I'll tell you what, you know, watching these guys in practice, every run counts. You know, they only have so many practice runs, need to work out the kinks. Tell you what, Matt Field has probably seen more contact this year than anybody else. I mean, kicking it off at round 1, you know, goes in the wall, every corner was hit as he came across Aasbo's nose, and it knocked him straight into the wall in Long Beach, which is the most unforgiving track of the Formula Drift Championship. Not only did he have to fix his car and get it back up just a few weeks later, but also he got married that week. So congratulations to him. Celebrations, this, that, you know, and he's currently leading the championship without a win. That's the big statement. And again, we have seen the championship being gained without getting an overall win. Here we go, the frenemies doing battle. Teal and blue, Falcon tire. What do we got, boys? Matt Field throws it into that first big outside zone. Odi Bakchis looks like he's kind of pedaling back a little bit. Oh, now he jumps up. Odi Bakchis right there on the door of Matt Field. These guys have had a lot of fun on course, but now it's all about the points and the finish. Odi Bakchis transitions. Oh, man. You can see that going to that third outside zone. Odi Bakchis didn't get as deep as Matt Field. You can see him trying to surge that attack, getting right next to him. Oh, Doctor, come on. This is a huge battle right here. And that's what we expected. But when it starts this early, I mean, the hair's standing up my arms. I don't know about you.
Woo, that was a lot of fun. Let's watch this replay, Jared, as they get initiated. Great mimic by Odi, great lead initiation there by Matt. The line on outside zone 1, really well done there. You can see Odi getting nice and close. A little bit of movement in his car, but he's working hard to stay close. They come through outside zone 2, and right here, you could see Odi take a chance. The way he dove in, it didn't quite pay off the way I think he wanted it to, but he stayed close. Got close to an inside clip, but he kind of fell back a little bit after that transition and had to adjust his line a little bit. So not perfect from Odi in the chase. Definitely had that error right there. Let's watch it from the ground cameras again here. Great line from Field in the lead, and you can see Odi's right there. Just moving around ever so slightly in the chase. You can see there Field leaves outside zone 1 really well. Goes to outside zone 2. The transition right there, again, that's where Odi took that chance. Got a little bit too close, had to slow down, backed off a bit, and then he was on a bit of a weird line there, and you can see he's still not on the right line until the very end of outside zone 4. So that is going to hurt Odi a little bit in the chase position as we do a chase-to-chase comparison. But, of course, Matt Field has to do that or better now in the chase position to stay alive in this battle.
Absolutely. So big ask here for Odi Bakchis, and you talked about the risk versus reward, and I think Odi, you know, knowing Matt, he's going to absolutely just go for blood. I mean, he's going for the kill right now. Here we go. Odi Bakchis initiates. Here comes Matt Field. Looks like a very similar lines. Watch how he gains proximity. Now, how's he going to handle it? Going to the power alley. Odi Bakchis out front. Do we have contact?
That was
there?
a hit.
Houston, do we have a problem? Out to outside zone 3. You can see Matt Field. He pedaled back. He didn't take that big fist there. Looks like, again, composure. He knows he might have a little bit of an advantage. I want to. You gave me a little O over here. I was looking out the window, not utilizing the screens here. Was there contact there coming off the bank into that power alley?
I think there was, and let's look at. So first of all, I want to see how high Odie was on outside zone 1. Let's look at his line as he comes around outside zone 1. Was it as high as Field? I don't think it was. Look how much gap there is there between the back of Odie's car and the wall. Right there. That's wheel-to-wheel contact, isn't it? Coming off of outside zone 1, but they both stay in it. There's just a little bobble from both of them, but they just keep going. They stay in it. Beautiful job from both drivers there handling that contact. There may be a little bump there at outside zone 4 too, but looking at lead to lead, look at where Odie's car is here as we watch from a different view. Look at how much air there is between the back bumper and the wall. I don't think he quite had the same line that Field did in his lead run. Right there's the hit, but they both stay in it. Little correction from both of them. Field may have missed outside zone 2 there in the chase, but from the hit to that point, you can understand why. Coming to outside zone 4 right there. Wow, that was an exciting battle from these two, let's call them juggernauts.
Yeah, absolutely juggernauts. And, you know, these guys, you could see, man, some awesome driving there. And be sure to come by the K&N booth at the halftime. I'll be hosting a little hangout with Matt Field, actually. So myself, alongside Chelsea Denofa, Forsberg, Dylan Hughes, Ryan Turk, Federico Sceriffo, and Larry Chen. So halftime hangout over at the K&N booth, including that gentleman, our current points leader, Matt Field. Does he hold on to it, or did Odie Bakchis take him out? Again, not exactly perfect on both sides of the lead and chase.
Yeah, so let's look at, as we did this side-by-side here, you can put one eyeball on each screen and try to figure out what occurred as they both come around outside zone 2 area. That little hit between Field and Odie while Field was chasing didn't seem to affect either one of them that much. They both got through that pretty well. So you can see there that it's pretty tight. There may be some advantages, though, from both drivers in certain situations. So it's going to be up to the three of us. My vote's already in, but the other guys, I'm not sure. So we'll see what happens as they make their decisions. And this is exciting.
Yeah, we talked about it, and this is a great way, just into 32, how it's come. Oh, here we go. Slide him left for Field, right for Odie. We got it one more time, a Matt Field, and one more time. Throw it down to Chris Ewell. Chris, going down to you. Chris Ewell, the other judge alongside Ryan Lantain, Brian Egger, and Chris. Chris, going to you. You and Brian with the one more time. Your justification.
Yeah, I didn't like as much Odie's bank run. He wasn't as high. And then when Matt in his lead went into outer 3, he kind of parked it a little bit, which affected Odie, and Odie made a good adjustment. So I felt like, you know, it's kind of ticky-tack and offsetting, and let's just do it again.
I like it. Yeah, that's good. Just keep it clean. They both had mistakes on either side in different areas and different portions. So, all right, here we go. So one more time between the frenemies. The plot thickens here, and they just got to see what each other does. Now we go back to Frederick Aasbo and Joshua Love. Frederick Aasbo, the 2-time champ in that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra on Nitto tires. Joshua Love ready to throw down that Jasper Keys, a new sponsor for him. So congratulations to him. Let's see how the BMW throws down. And here goes Frederick Aasbo out front, the gold nose. Keeps it tight to the wall. The alternator obviously changed out. Kudos to Josh Love and his team for getting the car back up and going against that 2-time champ. Digs deep into that second outside zone. A little bit not as deep is Love, then Aasbo, and now that final outside zone. Ooh, Joshua Love knocks off that back bumper.
How much did that affect him, Jared, the hit? You could see the car moving through the smoke from out of view.
The attitude definitely, it jarred him. It definitely jarred him.
We'll have to see that from the drone. So let's look at the replay as they accelerate up to initiation point here. Nice flick from Aasbo in the lead position. And you see in the chase there, Love did a really nice initiation as well. Aasbo's high, no movement from the car whatsoever on outside zone 1. But you can see Love a little bit lower in the chase position there, not filling outside zone as well. A little bit lower angle through zone 2 than Aasbo. And right there, he dives off of outside zone 3 early to try to get proximity. And he does do that, but makes a little compromise. Right there, he did straighten over the finish line after that hit. So that may or may not be, depending on who you ask, of the three of us, an incomplete from Love in the chase position due to that wall tap and the resulting straight.
And you always talk about it, not only on that last outside zone, but you know, kissing it, or, you know, I like to call it a hate tap versus a love tap, but you hate to see it, but you love to see it. There's degrees of hitting that wall. Is it slowing you? Is it redirecting you? Is it changing the attitude of the car? Is it making an unchaseable run? You know, all of those things come into play. And again, titles on the line here. Frederick Aasbo coming to this round, you know, as far as a contender in the championship as well. You know, he's currently sitting second in points, so this is a big one for Frederick Aasbo out of the gate as well, going against Joshua Love. Joshua Love would love to play Dark Horse. Got that new all-black livery. Again, new sponsor. He's out front. Jasper Keys Clothing Company, and here we go. Let's see what we got. Josh Love out front. Frederick Aasbo. Just one of the best chase drivers, hence why he's two-time champion. He's defending champion with the star on his back, rock star that is. Joshua Love initiates nice on the bank, but Frederick Aasbo shining bright like a gold diamond into that second outside zone. The power alley now into the third. Not as deep as Joshua Love was. Now let's see how they execute that final outside zone. You see Freddie tuck into the smoke and just mimic that angle across the finish line, almost making contact beyond. And we have seen that before, which is just an absolute tragedy because it's just such a bummer. You're like, oh, it's not even on the course. It's after the finish line. It doesn't count.
That was, I would expect to see more proximity from Aasbo there. He was in the game, definitely, not, you know, unchased, or you know, one of those chases that isn't in proximity, but through the infield wasn't as close. But right here you can see that in the lead there, Love is slightly lower than Aasbo was on his lead. Right here, Aasbo gives him a little bit of space through the infield, just a little bit more than you'd expect there. Aasbo, like you said in the chase, misses outside zone number 3, and then as he transitions here, nice and tight, and this is where he puts the exclamation point on. Nice and close, great mimic all the way through the finish line.
He wasn't as deep, just to point that out. Aasbo wasn't as deep as Joshua Love did have that proximity, but we talk about that pocket, you know, you kind of don't want to exceed the front wheels. Watch it again, and again, that I like to call it the truth serum, the overhead, the eye in the sky. You can see he gets the proximity, not as deep. Am I correct in saying, or you just kind of like that pocket?
Yeah, no, zone 4, I think he was pretty good. He was maybe just, you know, a foot further forward than he could have been, but it was really the outside zone 3 area that was of concern. So looking at the results here now.
And here we go, slide him left for Aasbo or right for Love, and there it is. Frederick Aasbo gets the win. Again, Josh Love, hats off to his team, getting the car back up and running. Great looking. Again, Jasper Keys, Big Duck Club, Holly, After Hours Auto Sports. Gotta love some Josh Love as Aasbo goes on to the scales. And yeah, so before we get to elaborating on that, let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette.
Gushi and Ken, unfortunately, you're experiencing some drivetrain issues. What's happening?
Yeah, so what's happening is every time I get on the handbrake with the clutch in, it's still dragging the wheel, and at some point, some parts of the track, I was actually stalling the motor, and so it was a little skeptical going into qualifying, but we managed to make it work yesterday. And I got to really attribute that to my team for making sure the car is running top-notch through the weekend so I can just focus 100% on driving.
Ken, thank you so much. Guys?
Thank you so much, Ken, and thank you, Lorette Nickel. Again, Lorette doing that Formula Drift takeover on Instagram, so she's got the camera and the phone. Here we go, back to the one more time. No? Psych, just kidding.
Psych.
Just kidding, gonna put you on ice there, put those drivers on ice. We're going on to Justin Pawlak and Nick Noback. Some more teal and blue for your diet, but it is the Ford Mustang variety of JTP Justin Pawlak going against CoroWorks driver Nick Noback. Shout out to Tyler and Lauren, CoroWorks. Tyler, I know you're watching, homeboy, from Georgia. CoroWorks, a great shop in Georgia.
All right, sending cars.
And JTP, Justin Pawlak, tried and true, Formula Drift veteran, piloting that Falcon Tires Ford Mustang. Always just definitely a stylish driver. Looking forward to seeing what he throws down here in the signature pony that is the Ford Mustang. I think engine management firing off into that outside zone. Perfect. Look how settled Justin Pawlak is up front. Those white wheels, again, it always highlights when there's minimal or no correction out of those front wheels. Great job. Good transition into that third outside zone. Nick Noback gained some proximity, but needs to mimic that angle. Let's see what if Noback flexes on him, tries to drop in, and he does. That was really well done, but you saw just how much muscle was right there towards the end. But Nick's swing going from that inside clip to the last outside zone was really well done. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, as we look at the replay, I think they both had a nice initiation, but Noback started falling off pretty quickly here on outside zone 1. You can see he was within a couple cars length, but right there he starts falling back. He's running slightly less angle, a little bit lower on outside zone 1. In the lead position there, JTP is doing a great job. I think Noback maybe dropped a tire in outside zone 2 and then wasn't in 3, whereas Justin overshot 3 just ever so slightly, but did a good job of filling it. And then right there, Noback tries to dive in, but just gets kind of on that wrong line that doesn't let him stay close through to the finish. So a couple of areas there where JTP definitely has
advantage.
an advantage, but can also improve upon what Noback did in his chase. So work on the proximity and putting the car mimicking, what the lead driver is doing line-wise as well. In the lead position now, Nick needs to run high and outside zone 1. He needs to go deep in the zones. I would say his one opportunity is leaving outside zone 3 where it ends. As long as he's filling everything else as well as JTP did, he could have slight advantage there if he does a better job in zone 3, just kind of leaving it where it ends.
Justin Pawlak's line going from the outside zone 1 into 2 in that power alley was very fluid, and that was something I really want to point out before we get Nick Noback out front. And look at that, he's locked and loaded. But Justin Pawlak, you talk about what he needs to do, and he's doing that. Falls down some wavering in that chase position, but watch Nick Noback come to that second outside zone, fills it. Justin Pawlak buried in smoke. Now Nick Noback, let's see that line. Justin dives in on the inside. And Noback brings it into that last outside zone. That allows Pawlak to get right to the door. So kind of difficult to watch both cars at the same time, but watch the line. Nick Noback, I think he did what what you needed to do, but also Pawlak did have that proximity, but unfortunately I think there was some wavering. He did get close, but then you saw him kind of drop down in the latter portion of that. And then, I mean, kudos to Justin Pawlak. He was just absolutely bathing in smoke going into that power alley outside zone 2 and 3.
Yeah, honestly, we'd prefer to see Justin higher on outside zone 1 and matching that angle, but you could see he was slightly lower on outside zone 1, and you can see that the car was moving around quite a bit in the chase position. So if you look at Justin, yes, he's closer, but look at his angle. Quite a bit of movement there. He actually dropped down, lost some angle a couple of times as he comes through that outside zone 1 area. Nick's doing a decent job in the lead. And right there, Justin misses outside zone 3 in the chase position. Comes by inside clip 1, drops a tire, then drops potentially another tire. So Justin's not really positioning his car very well in the chase there, and he's not matching the angle, having some issues as well. So lead to lead, chase to chase, you may find that there's some pretty big similarities in terms of errors that have been made.
I mean, the outside zone 1, how much of that does it play a role in the outcome? There we go, the fans are hyped. How important of a role does outside zone 1 play in your mind?
Well, it's pretty big. It is such a large section of the track, and that's worth 14 points on line alone when we were doing qualifying, and then 10 points on angle throughout that whole sector there. So actually, it's 2 sectors in qualifying. So it's a big sector where we'd like to see the lead car settled. We'd like to see the chase car close and settled as well, and you can see quite a bit of movement in Justin's car. So in that situation, you look at is close proximity with a lower line, maybe a little bit less angle. Is that equivalent to same line, same angle, but further back? So that's where the comparisons come in, and where it gets a little bit tricky.
Right.
And the years of experience that the three of us have, come into seeing who would have an advantage in that situation. So I've got my vote in. It seems like we're just waiting for the other guys, and once we get their votes in, then we'll be able to see who moves on here.
All right, a lot of elaboration here, a lot of things to process. All right, let's score it. Here we go. Justin Pawlak or Nick Noback. Do we have a victor? Is it decided? Let's get the overhead view, and I believe we'll see some more. Are we going back to? We are going back to the one more time battle of Field and Bakchis, but first the outcome of JTP and Nick Noback. 1 vote for Justin Pawlak, 1 more time, and JTP gets the win. JTP gets the win, and Ryan, you went with the 1 more time.
Yep.
The other judges siding with Justin Pawlak, and unfortunately Nick Noback and the Coro Works BMW knocked out. It's a beautiful day out here. Again, how are we doing? Like the hats? Again, remember to reapply SPF. Put that sunscreen on. It's a hot one out here. Feeling the heat wave. Hopefully you got your heat wave shades on. So the Rockstar Energy Drink Top 32, and here's the 1 more time battle between what is called the frenemies. They're friends, they're enemies, they're frenemies. Matt Field, Odi Bakchis. See the stats, see the suits, suited and booted, teal and blue, Falcon tires, Nick Fosekis cringing right now, watching at home in Southern California. Remember, Matt Field, #1 in points right now coming into this round of competition. Odi Bakchis, 7th overall in points. The variety of podiums this year should absolutely be celebrated. We haven't seen a repeat winner at any rounds from the previous 5 rounds of competition. Matt Field will lead, qualified 4th. Odi Bakchis qualifying 29th. Lights extinguished, here we go. Matt Field out front, Odi Bakchis in the chase position. Make some noise, Seattle, here we go. The battle in Seattle going down between the frenemies. Matt Field, strong initiation. The 4-star white wheel standing out like a sore thumb. Oh man, Odi Bakchis getting in the door of him. Now coming into that power alley. Odi gains that composure, nice job. Didn't risk it as big as he did on that first run. Now in that tight inside clip, coming in at last outside zone. Field and Bakchis, this is what you expected here with this one more time battle. The crowd erupts and stomping their feet for this amazing battle, and we're only in the 32.
So from my perspective, as someone who voted for Field on the first run, I see that Odi cleaned up his chase in a big way here. Looking at where his car is positioned going through outside zone 1, he's on the exact same line as Field, and he's so close. That is an incredible level of driving skill right there. He stays mimicking exactly what Field did through 2. Outside zone 3, he did miss, but he did position his car a lot better on that transition. And then looking through outside zone 4, pretty close through the finish line there. That was an incredible run from both drivers. Field, I don't really think made any errors in the lead. That was pretty solid. He put the car everywhere it needed to be. So he's setting the bar really high for Odi now as Odi goes into the lead position. And in the chase, Odi set the bar incredibly high for Field, who needs to stay really close from start to finish and stick it to Odi's door.
Yeah, I think if Field nails that outside zone 3, the transition in the power alley, that might just be the nail in the coffin, but he's got to start out strong and he's got to finish strong all the way through. He knows what he needs to do. Here we go, Odi Bakchis initiates big angle, and there, you ask, he shall receive. And Matt Field does have the proximity now. You can see he kicks out a little bit more to mimic that angle. Now into the power alley, Matt Field drops back. Ooh, he comes up a bit short there. Big implications here. Our current points leader fighting for it against Odi Bakchis, his frenemy. Did Odi Bakchis just defeat Matt Field, or did he stand strong? Remember, this is 32, 100 points for the win. They're separated by 118, but also who's watching and drooling right now? You got Ryan Turk, you got Dylan Hughes, you got Chris Forsberg, and you got Frederick Aasbo sitting in 2nd, and he's already in the 16.
Yeah, now let's look at the car positioning and compare this to what we just saw on the first run. Odi, maybe not, yeah, he's high, he's really high in there. You can see that Field doesn't quite match the angle, and then right there, Field falls off, misses outside zone 2. Odi kind of misses outside zone 2. Odi misses outside zone 3 as well in the lead, and Field is right there with him. So this is, I think, way more complicated than it looked on that, first seeing it live. Now that you see a little bit more accurately, you see that Odi maybe didn't do the job in the lead that you thought he did on initial viewing of it. So watch Odi's line here as he comes through outside zone number 2. Is this tire all the way in the box? Nope. Is this tire in the box for 3? Also no.
Yeah,
so Field is missing a couple of things like outside zone 1, but now Odi is also missing things in the lead position. So it comes down to who made the bigger errors in the lead and who made the bigger errors in the chase.
When I say that's great, is just seeing those different perspectives, and this is why the replays are so critical. Again, I'm having to call it with my naked eye and seeing what's going on, knee-jerk reaction. After analyzing it, like you said, here's Odi Bakchis, who didn't get out to outside zone 2 and 3. So here we go with that BC Racing Go for Gold side-by-side instant replay. It's hard, so you can see that's Matt Field on the left, he's leading, and then Odi's leading on the right screen.
So look at Odi on the right screen, how close he is, how well he's mimicking, and then, sorry, that's the other way around. Oh my goodness. My eyeballs, you need to put one on each screen here, and it's not easy, but yeah, you can see certain things missed by both drivers in both positions. It almost, I don't want to say how I feel because I don't want to influence the other guys, but I'm definitely leaning one way on this one.
And
Woo.
we're seeing some results here, and asking the fans at home. Here we go. Slide him left for Field. Slide him left for Odie. We got Matt Field gets the win.
We are so split today.
Yeah, and you know what? I could see why you went one more time, and I could see why they went Matt Field. And I'm going to throw it down to them once again. Hold on. I want to get down the rep, but I think this is just because somebody put your headset on down there. Brian Eggert, put your headset on, buddy. Want to ask you some questions in regarding to you went with Matt Field and your reasoning.
Yeah, Matt's lead run was good. He put the car right where he needed to be, so in order to have a good chase, you have to have a good lead, and he gave him that opportunity. I think Odie made a few mistakes in the lead, completely missing outer zone 3, so things like that I think kind of affected. Also coming off the bank there at outer zone 1 may have affected Matt's line, so that's why I went with Matt.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I kind of, in my mind, Matt Field. So, and there we go. All right, the guy paying attention to that result is with the red nickel.
About that win. Congratulations to Matt Field, but Frederick Aasbo here. Frederick had a motor change in practice today, and Frederick, I was hoping you could explain why.
Yeah, so first run in practice today, cross the finish line, I get a really violent vibration in the car and then oil everywhere. Turns out we shot a rod out the side of the block. You can actually see the hole right here. Yeah, so no bueno, but the team, you know, we've been through this before. We have a fully dressed spare, and it took him less than an hour to swap the new motor in. So we even got 2 more runs in that session. So I think it's safe to say I have the best team out here.
Yeah, a lot of confidence for Frederick Aasbo and his team supporting him. Guys.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Freddie. And our next pair is on the line. And this is Dylan Hughes, the dozer, who got the win notably in the Wet and Wild Orlando round. And Simon Olsen, the Boost Race Fuel Norwegian drifter, competing in the Norwegian Drifting Championship, a champion in his home country. And that, so notably, both these guys 2J powered. So you got the 2J all-new Toyota Supra and obviously the 2J powered Royal Purple Falcon Tires O'Reilly Auto Parts Dylan Hughes Racing BMW. There we go. Dylan Hughes out front, who qualified 5th yesterday. A great showing for him. Initiates high on the bank. Simon Olsen. He's going to need to mimic that angle. He does get close. That great carbon Kevlar HGK kitted Supra. Big angle from Dylan. Almost going the outside of the track. That would be essentially be like kind of a deduction, not an incomplete. Simon, you can see him kind of clamoring, lunging forward, but needs to mimic that angle. Gets close there. I like that towards the latter portion, but just a little too late there for Mr. Olsen. Yeah. Dylan's currently sitting 5th in points, and here are the points at stake at the end of the day. Obviously, 100 points for first, 91 for second, 80. You see it right there. But
you can read the numbers.
Yeah, you can read that. So again, those are the points. Talking championship, baby.
I want to look at Simon's initiation here. 3, 2, right at the 1 cone. He did it all right there. Yeah. Looking at what Dylan's doing in the lead position, nice and high in the zone. You can see Simon moving around in the chase, drops down a little bit early there. Dylan does go wide after outside zone number 1, drops a tire, gets to outside zone 2, does it nicely, and then Simon's probably thrown off by that tire off a little bit earlier on, and his line is suffering a little bit in the second portion of the course here, not really putting it in the same spot as Dylan is in the lead. So we have an opportunity here for Simon in the lead. He needs to leave outside zone 1, get to outside zone 2, a little bit smoother than Dylan did, not drop a tire there, and have a nicer line through that area of the track.
Some great insight there from Ryan Lontaine. If you're just tuning in, we are not even halfway through our top 32. Here goes Simon Olsen. Again, from Norway in that 2JZ powered Toyota Supra, the all-new Supra. Dylan Hughes, you can see him kind of kick back a little bit, and now he jumps up. Simon Olsen, great job right now. Let's see what we got here coming to that power alley. Throw some more angle at it. Dylan Hughes into that 3rd outside zone. Looks like Simon Olsen definitely got some confidence in between that. Oh, boingo!
Wow.
Wow, bing bong, there we go. Dylan Hughes jumps up.
That was a huge hit, Jared.
That was massive. That was big.
Dylan got some serious airtime there. That is unexpected in that situation, like that area of the track.
But is it? That's where Odie shut down.
Yeah, a little bit later, I guess. Like that was right in the transition, and you could see that Dylan was already committed. There was nothing he could do. The car was rotating. Sort of hard to change direction when the car is already rotating towards one direction. So clearly he had a a moment there where he couldn't change where he was going and made contact in a pretty big way. So this is going to be some big repairs from both cars here,
man.
unfortunately.
Make some noise for him as he steps outside of the car. Dylan Hughes and Simon Olsen. Take a look at it again here. What went wrong? And obviously you saw Simon balk and check up.
Yeah, Simon in the lead. You can see has less angle than you'd want in the lead position there. Maybe his line wasn't ideal. Dylan is on a slightly tighter line through that outside 1 to outside zone 2. They both missed 3, but right here, this is the big story right here.
Boink.
Oh, that hit so
that
hard.
Front left hit that back right, and I think that's what threw him up. The tire, it went tire on tire, so that back right is rotating forward, and then bloop, it just kicks him up.
And you can see the whole rear quarter of Simon's car kind of wrinkle as he hits him. That was big. Dylan's car goes up in the air, like you said, tire riding up on the other tire, and right here you see Simon's car shut off completely. Dylan gets looked like almost 4 wheels up in the air there. Definitely the 2 fronts. Let's look at it from a different angle here. We'll be able to see exactly how many tires. Jeez. This is a big hit.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, maybe 3. Maybe the bright rear stayed down. But anyway, that was very big. That's they're shaking hands, fist bumping. Everything's fine. This is a part of competitive motorsports. You know, things like this are going to happen. But we got to get Dylan's car off the track. He's going to have some repairs to do here, and so is Simon. Of course, one of them is going to be a little more stressed as they're repairing the car because one person will move on. Sounds like the scores are in, so we're going to see who won.
The big thing here, I guess the silver lining is, as I'm assuming our slide left, for Dylan Hughes, the dozer, lives up to his name and bounces off the backside of that new Supra. But Dylan Hughes, a busy man. That gentleman going fast in 4 wheels, 2 wheels, and no wheels in this instance as he jumps up. Gets all 4 wheels off the ground. He went jet boating earlier this week. But the good, like I was going to say, silver lining is we're not even halfway through top 32. So that not only gives him time because of where he's at to work on his vehicle, but also halftime break. The work starts now for the team and him. And I know Dylan is kind of a hands-on driver. He does have his crew, but it's all hands on deck. You know, between his team and even his dad and the whole family, they're going to jump on that vehicle ASAP.
Yeah.
So Dylan Hughes gets the win. We'll clear up the track here, and you can see the action continues at the throwdown here at the Battle in Seattle, round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. When we come back, myself, Jared Deanna, Ryan Lantain, our judges, and all our fans here in Monroe will keep the party going when we come back.
At Royal Purple, we develop synthetic lubricants that outperform on reliability, performance, efficiency, and sustainability. From the racetrack to the cul-de-sac, from on the clock to the ship dock. A mountain view to a coastal cruise. For the highest performance now and protection. At Royal Purple, we develop synthetic lubricants that outperform on reliability, performance, efficiency, and sustainability. From the racetrack to the cul-de-sac, from on the clock to the ship dock. A mountain view to a coastal cruise. For the highest performance now and protection for the future. No matter what drives you, Royal Purple.
Yeah, you want a cold one? Thank you. Yeah.
So how you feeling, man? Ready to roll. That spotter from yesterday is like, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, you're doing something right.
So I want to make sure that you judges know that hopefully all the lead guys are doing what I believe is right, which is shut it down, go hard down.
Talk about the credit. Your wheelie. Practicing for you, Freddie. Woo! Or too much.
You make the change the whole car.
Oh yeah.
4 laps tonight. Hey guys, the car was amazing the first time. Can we go back?
Yeah. But they gotta be pumped about it, though, because like you're finding what works.
370 myself. Do you? Yep. Just got a welded diff. I'm trying to make it a drift though. There you go. Do you have any advice? Grab a set of coilovers next. Really?
On the train, yeah, I was full. That was the worst crash I've probably ever had.
He hit. What's his face? Hit Matt in the left rear.
I watched the whole
Which then
thing.
did left rear, right rear, right
Yeah.
left, the whole thing.
Yeah. Over on new just for the total weight of the car fully loaded, and then I would like to measure it like that. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. I'll do all that I want. Thank you guys.
Hey, I just want to get in their head that I'm there. Yes, it's time. For real, it's time.
No, for real.
Yeah, I know. I got it. I know what I have to do. And then go spend a couple days at home before flying back. Nice. Yeah. It's really good.
This is definitely the great equalizer. Having that short stretch between corners, the fast cars and the big tire isn't getting away. This is rad. Oh, you got it! You got it! This is the way. Almost no work there.
You got a big old check, buddy!
Yeah, but you got it.
How many hot dogs you got?
Taking a look back at the vibe of New Jersey, and taking a look back at New Jersey, and now we throw it down. Throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette Nickel is with Matt Field.
Looked like it should have been a final against Odi Bakchis. Matt Field takes the win, but it's not without struggle because you're having some power steering issues.
This whole weekend has been one thing after the next. The first lap of the weekend, practice, my power steering failed on the bank. It was all I could do to muscle the car off the wall. It was this close. We missed almost all of the first practice session, changing the pump, changing the rack, changing the filter, nothing would solve it. Finally, a rack did. And all was well until we went to fire the car up to bring it out to practice this morning, which we were supposed to be first based off of the new order, how we're going out to practice. Instead of being first, we missed all of practice pretty much because either another steering rack or another power steering pump. So I'm very fortunate. I borrowed a power steering pump from Rome. I don't even know if he knows it because his crew guys gave it to me. So for that, Rome, yeah. Put another steering rack, another pump, another filter, completely flushed the system, and now we seem to be cooking. So it was all I could do to just get out to that battle and get out to any practice. And even then, right after practice, we were working on the car up until the last second. So to be able to go out and throw down 4 runs like that, man, it feels good. And I mean, Odi, Jesus, man, you made me work for it.
Absolutely, and I overheard you telling your team that at this point you're just exhausted. So at stake, how concentrating on the moment?
So I'm fortunate that when the time is to turn the light switch on, when it's time to raise that energy up, I have stuff to be able to do that. So right now I just need to chill out between the break, get a little bit of rest, eat some food, and then it'll be ready to turn it on for a top 16.
Matt, thanks so much for your time. Guys?
Thank you so much, Lorette. Good luck to you, Matt Field. Congratulations advancing on. And again, give credit where credit is due. The teams and the crew, but also, like Matt said, he had to work for it going against Odi. That that one more time battle and locked it in. So we are still in the Rockstar Energy Drink top 32. Here comes João Barion from Brazil, driving the Monster Energy Barbarius Corvette, going against Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic. Toyota GR86.
And here you can see him in the Pedal Commander burnout box. That's Jonathan Castro. Castro qualified 21st. Joao Barion, he will lead. He qualified 12th. Joao already at the start line. Let's see how this unfolds. The winner of this battle will be going against Dylan Hughes. Dylan Hughes will lead. Or excuse me, Dylan Hughes will lead. And Joao leading on this battle. Here we go, Joao Barion. Let's see, we got, he had an insane run yesterday on his qualifying run. So much smoke and so much excitement, but smoke is not a criteria. You need to throw it down here. Joao Barion, he's got the power. What's he gonna do? Joao Barion initiates, big angle from Joao. You can see Castro trying to play catch up here. Joao sticking it to the wall. Big angle from him, some wavering there from Castro in that chase position. Now coming down into that second outside zone. Joao does not hit that second outside zone. Does get into the third, but he compromised that. Now Castro, this could be an opportunity for him as he didn't have the ideal. Wow, big swing right there. Just snaps back up to the finish line. He needs a finish left. Needs to finish a little bit more left.
Joao's car did not sound healthy at the finish line. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't.
Full throttle, screaming all the way around the track. He got to the finish line, and he barely made it over the finish line with angles. So you can see that his car, I don't know if he was off throttle or what the deal is, but let's watch. Let's watch what's going on here in the replay. You can see in the lead there, Joao's pretty high on outside zone 1. You can see Castro a little bit lower there, but right here, Joao completely misses outside zone number 2 by a big margin. Gets into 3, Castro misses 3. They come by inside clip number 1, and then they transition here. This is where Joao put a big exclamation point on his run yesterday, and you can see barely any smoke as he came over the finish line. He barely got over that finish line with angles, so I don't know if there's a car issue or what.
Great observation, man. So he does call his competition timeout. Joao Barion got a little bit of a cold here, so he calls his NGK competition timeout. So speaking of NGK, NGK does make ignition coils. Why? Well, because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making a better coil. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance, and because we race to win, we continue to improve the design, testing, and validation of our ignition coils to make installation easier and performance better. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together. And we see Kevin Wells walking over to Joao's area, seeing what's going on here. Pulls in 5 minutes, see if they could diagnose the problem, get back up to the line to finish out this battle. And I mean, it wasn't sloppy until the end, and like you said, kind of shut it down. That's why he didn't finish to the left. He kind of snapped back because didn't have the power. As you could see, who's going on to 16? Well, already we got seven that are already in. Dan Burkett, Dean Kearney, Gushi, Aasbo, all Toyota, and then Field Pawlak, some more Falcon.
Wow.
Gosh, these Falcon guys can't catch any breaks. Field and Justin Pawlak, and then Dylan Hughes. Speaking of Falcon, there's some more Falcon for you. And then we will find out if it's Joao Barion from Brazil or Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic. Up next, Chelsea Denofa and Mike Power, 2 East Coast boys. Denofa piloting that Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5D. I know the boss, Von Gittin Jr., is out doing some Ultra 4 racing right now, doing some off-roading, as Mike Power seems, trying to find that sweet spot. Barely gets in yesterday. Mike Power got that 31st spot, so barely just got in. But it'll be Denofa versus Power, and there they are, already on the start line. Denofa warming up his Nitto tires and ready to put it down. So we're talking about Denofa, who's always a contender for the championship. Denofa coming to this round sixth in points. All right, looks like getting him ready, and here we go. Denofa will lead, Power giving chase. Denofa coming out of the start chicane, initiates into the big bank. He always likes to start out strong, big angle on Power, a little lower than Denofa. And out into that second outside zone, there goes Denofa putting that Nitto tire. Oh, and big hit from Power. Hits him square, and Chelsea Denofa continues on, but Mike Power shuts it down. That was pretty game right there. And Power just slapped him, just wheel to wheel, door to door, but Denofa didn't phase him too much, man. It looks like Mike Power, hopefully just aesthetic.
It almost looked like Power used Chelsea as a stopper there.
Yeah, he came in hot.
Yeah, that is definitely a big decel zone there. That is the biggest one we have on this track, and you need to get your car slowed down. But let's see what happened from up in the air here. This is going to give us the perfect view. You can see Chelsea nice and high and outside zone 1. Power moving around a little bit in chase position there. Right here, Chelsea gets just not really into outside zone 2, and then Power comes in and hits Chelsea. It doesn't look like Chelsea was slowing down in any kind of way that was, you know, illegal or not right. I don't know, illegal is the wrong word. It looked like he used the decel zone properly.
It wasn't anything intrusive, right?
Right, so it looked like Power just was trying to gain proximity there and misjudged coming through the smoke. Yeah, and it got bumped. Chelsea got bumped wide on that zone, but kept going. No problem at all through to the finish.
Taking a look here, that is the timer for Joao Barion to get his vehicle buttoned up and back to the line. Seeing Lorette down there with Joao. We'll see how the second half of this battle between Denofa and Power ends up. You can see the Corvette here. All right, Denofa and Power with that contact. You know, Power is going to be at fault there. Yep. Like you said, nothing. All right, let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel. What's going on with Joao?
Hey, Joao, if you could tell us what's happening for you.
We actually don't know. We are having some electronic issues, losing power during the lap. So it's like I start with full power, and the end of first zone, I have like half of my power. So we still don't know. We could not figure out anything. Let's try to do.
Joao, thank you. Guys.
That's always the problem, right? You're down power, you're trying to chase the gremlins, competition timeout, you got to utilize it, otherwise you're going to be compromised. You know, here's Castro. Joao, I would have to say, would you venture? No, I'm not going to leave that alone. I don't want you to answer. I was going to ask you, who do you think has an advantage here?
Moving along.
Yeah, moving along, but, you know, just given that first half of it, I think Castro, his chase run just needed to be tighter and higher, and Joao didn't have those gremlins show up until kind of latter portion of the track. He did miss outside zone 2 very drastically, but we'll revisit that, and we'll probably replay that first run. Oh, and it's great to see Alec Robbins here on the start line. He messaged me actually and says, hey man, just an FYI, I went hard into the wall in practice. We're gonna get it back together. He didn't think he'd get it back, but so that's why I say it's great to see him up and running and bringing it back to the start line. And Joao Barion looking to win his first battle. He hasn't advanced into 16 this year yet. So, and just as I said that, looks like Reeder does leave Robbins on the line. So this very well could be not a buy run for him, but with Robbins pulling up. Here's Reeder, who got the win in New Jersey, round 4. Fought tooth and nail, and Travis Reeder, he's got his family here cheering him on. And Reeder's got to have a lot of confidence, not only getting the victory, but just feeling at home, feeling here, you know, back here in the Pacific Northwest, compete. This is his home track. This is where he cut his teeth. Both him and Dylan Hughes, they're very familiar with Evergreen.
Yeah, and that Reeder here just showed us a little bit of concern there going to outside zone 3. It's one of those things that we do need to pay attention to, and drivers need to pay attention to as well. He transitioned really late going to zone 3, and of course there was no competitor behind him, but it's just something that drivers need to be aware of. Going from zone 2 to zone 3, you need to make that transition happen before going to outside zone 3.
Sorry, Ryan, just some chatter and banter behind here as we're kind of moving around from Joao, Castro, Denofa, Power, and now obviously Reeder, Robbins. We're going to call that, unfortunately, Robbins didn't leave the line. So Travis Reeder gets the win. Reeder will advance on. So your local boy from right here in Washington gets the win. Travis Reeder will advance on. So like I said, moving around, if you can recall, Joao Barion, Castro, we saw that, and could see Joao in the burnout box. How are we doing out there, Seattle? My man with the Red Sox hat, he doesn't even know he's on the screen. What's cracking, dude? Are you in from Boston? No? No, just like the letter B? Big fan of the B? All right, that's cool. Yeah, I love letters too. Big letter fan.
Cool shirt.
Big letter guy. I did see a little DGK. Yeah. All right, so here we go with the Hachiroku. Is that what you're talking about?
Hachiroku, yes.
Yep. It is 86 day today, by the way. It's August 6th.
Get the heck
It's
out of here.
86 day. So speaking of 86, Jonathan Castro. So let's see if the GR86 of Jonathan Castro on 86 day, August 6th, can take out Joao Barion. If Joao has found the gremlins, can Castro move on? This is a new car prepared for him. So again, these gentlemen, as far as standings go, they're quite a bit down there right now, 31st and 33rd in standings. So looking for that momentum, getting their new cars, both these guys in brand new cars. So Castro will lead, Joao Barion giving chase in the Rockstar Energy Drink, top 32. Let's see, Castro out front now. Still got quite a few amazing battles left. We are officially now halfway through the 32. Castro, here we go. Castro out front. Castro out front, and Joao Barion in the chase position. Here comes Castro. Jordan Methodon, GR86. Oh, there we go. Joao seems to have found and figured out that gremlin as Castro seems to find that angle and that height on the bank. Now coming down into the power alley, dials it in. Perfect on the outside zone 2. Joao misses the outside zone 3. Now look at Castro. Found the sweet spot, the Dominican driver. Seems like he had a little bit of a checkup there. Castro did. So that's that outside zone just wreaking havoc on so many drivers, both yesterday and going into today.
All right, let's look at this replay from the sky. Going to give us all the angles we need to see here. Great initiation from both. You can see Castro pretty high in outside zone 1. Could be slightly tighter there, but you see in the chase position, Joao's got a little bit less angle, and it decreases as he gets further down the zone. In the lead, Castro does a great job on 2, misses outside zone 3 ever so slightly there, but Joao's right there with him. And like you said, Castro sort of had a little bit of hesitation going towards outside zone 4, but makes it over the line with angle. So just a slight hesitation on zone 4. So we're going to try to get a side-by-side, Jared, and see what we can see. It is hard to remember going back, you know, we got a battle in between there, so it's nice to have a little refresher.
Yeah, just recounting that run. Like I said, this is where it gets interesting. You know, we had the contact between Power and Denofa, if you can recall, just minutes ago, and then obviously with Joao and Castro.
Yeah, so here we go. One eyeball per screen, and you can have a look at Joao leading on the left, Castro leading on the right. So you can see that Castro's line is significantly lower in the chase position until the latter half of outside zone number 1. And Joao is closer, has a little bit less angle. Joao misses outside zone 2 by such a huge margin. And then in the lead there, Castro wasn't as deep in 3 as we'd like to see. And right here is where we see a little bit of an issue from both of them. They both get over the finish line with angle, but you can see that Joao had a bit of a power issue, which he did allude to shortly after that first run. So it looks like he fixed it, like you said, for the second one.
Both these drivers awaiting the outcome here, Castro or Joao. That's you. That's me. Throwing the horns, baby. Got the Adam LZ shirt on, the Sparko lid. Let's see if flying the flag there for LZ. A lot of Adam LZ fans. He's coming up shortly, about 3 battles away. And waiting the outcome here, Joao Barion or Jonathan Castro. We'll revisit Denofa and Power after this, ideally.
What?
Split decision. Castro gets the win. I was like, that was moving parts all over there. You went with Joao. The other two just, yeah, you guys are
way opposites today.
It's, yeah. Mom and dad are in a fight right now. I'm joking.
We don't like each other.
But we're literally physically split. You're over here kind of on the right side of the judges booth, and they're over there. And I mean, I don't know if the perspective is different from over here to there, but we're utilizing the screens a lot. And how we doing, FD fans? So there it is. Castro gets the win. That's awesome. So I was just talking about Adam LZ, and here he is. Always a crowd favorite, Wataru Masayama and Adam LZ. So Wataru Masayama, the Buy Now Japan S15, he has been absolutely on it lately. And Adam LZ always has the support of his fans. And here he comes in that AutoZone Mustang RTR Spec 5D. He's on those Nitto tires. All right, looks like Joao Barion getting towed off. So, man, unfortunately for Joao, man, that's a real bummer. He had the power yesterday. He was absolutely hammering. Okay, so a beautiful day out here. Like I said, temperature-wise and weather-wise, not a cloud in the sky. You can see just barely as we are ready to send him. Here we go. Adam LZ on that start line. Wataru Masayama will be leading, qualified 7th. Adam LZ qualifying 26th. Let's see what we got here from Masayama and LZ. All right, leaving that start chicane. Let's see if the fade comes in hot. Wataru Masayama, big angle from him. Adam LZ needs to close that gap. He does have the angle, not the proximity. Now into that second, very shallow and outside zone 2 in the power alley by LZ. Now into that inside clip. Big angle there from Masayama. He does exceed it, drops that tire off course. LZ definitely throws it down the latter portion of the track, but LZ, again, big gap off the start, and then coming to that power alley is very shallow in outside zone 2.
Was there a wall tap at outside zone 4 from Masayama, and what was LZ's initiation like here?
3-2. Like
right at the
there,
one cone. Yeah, you can see that Masayama's really high on outside zone 1. Car looks completely set. No movement. Really looking great there. And it looked like LZ got almost to the wall there at outside zone 1 at the end. Misses outside zone 2 completely. Masayama does a good job in the lead position. Puts one tire off after inside clip 1, getting himself lined up for zone 4. And he does tap the wall as he comes over the finish line with reduced angle. So looking at it from these more ground level cameras here, it's going to give us a different perspective. And look at LZ, angles up really big there after at the end of outside zone 1, makes him miss outside zone 2, and doesn't do a great job on 3 either. Coming through the outside zone 4 area, this is where Masayama's got the wall tap, and ooh, he goes almost straight over the finish line. But in terms of a lead to lead, now LZ is going to have to run that high-level lead run, right? High on the zone 1, fill 2, 3, and get wide on 4, but not tap the wall that straightens him up. In the chase position, Masayama's got to stay close. If he gets proximity and mimics that line, he's going to have an easy chase-to-chase win comparatively. I
think it might have been a blessing that LZ wasn't tight to Masayama on that last outside zone. That could have been a little more violent. Here we go, Adam LZ now got the clean air, the AutoZone Mustang RTR Spec 5 initiates, good initiation there, and look at Masayama, he talked about that proximity, he does close it, but not all the way. He takes a very shallow low line on the bank into the outside zone 2. Masayama just buried in the smoke. Adam LZ takes a wide line around that inside clip. Watch him transition here, Masayama. Wow, good composure there by Masayama. Oh, talk about hitting that wall, you talk about it, and LZ does it. Bumper budget, those RTR boys eating up those bumpers.
That was a big hit, Jared.
Yeah.
As you can tell by the rear of his car, completely gone. Trunk, bumper. So, comparatively here, lead to lead, chase to chase, we're going to have to keep a close eye on where LZ was placing his car and what Masayama was doing in the chase position. So on initiation, big flick from LZ. He's riding not quite as high on outside zone 1. I think that Masayama was in his lead, but Masayama's got some big errors already in the chase position there. You can see him making some big mistakes. And there you can see LZ does okay in 1, just off of outside zone 2. He has a weird line going to inside clip 1, and then as he approaches 4 here, makes big contact straightens up quite a bit as he goes over the finish line. So I think Masayama had a big advantage here, or opportunity in the chase position, and he may have squandered it somewhat by not really getting his car placed properly. You can see that in the lead, though, LZ is making some weird lines there. That outside zone 3 to inside clip 1, and then tapping the wall there on outside zone 4. A lot of errors here to look at from both drivers.
Looks like the fans are voting right now, and that we have a live poll on our live stream, and they're saying 49% Masayama, 21% LZ, and 30% one more time. So that's the fans tuning in. Hey, that's you. We do have to go back to the Denofa power battle. Yeah,
that Mustang is looking worse for wear.
I mean, they're designed, they have bash bars, but only to a certain point. Here we go, slide him left for Masayama, right for Adam LZ, and Masayama gets the victory, taking out Adam LZ. So unfortunately, LZ is retired early and is knocked out into 32. All right, so Masayama will advance on that Buy Now Japan, Sylvia. And we have 5.5 more battles left. You could see Reader already in on that right-hand side, Masayama obviously, and Reader will go against either Denofa or Power in the 16. There's the second half of this Denofa Power. If you could recall, Mike Power going into the side of Denofa, outside, exiting into the power alley, and then into that inside clip. Power just came in hot, boom, hit him just flat on, square, which is
the best way to hit it.
Exactly.
If you're going to.
Yeah, if you're going to have contact, no tire to tire, not kind of nosing in, T-boning them or Y-boning them. I don't know what you'd call it if you come at an angle. Wishboning?
Y-boning.
All right, here we go. Mike Power out front. That Power S15. Chelsea Nova giving him some room, but look at Chelsea. You see him reeling him in. Click, 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 click. And then here comes Power now from New York, dropping into that power alley. The power alley right now as Denofa taking a tempered approach. And coming into that last outside zone goes Power and Denofa. And with...
That was an interesting line from Denofa in the chase position.
Sorry, real quick. Denofa trying to drop that top 32 loss that he had in St. Louis.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was a big blow to the system. And keep in mind, again, sitting 6th in points.
Right. So we're going to do the lead-to-lead, chase-to-chase comparison here. Watching this replay, it looks like in the chase, in the lead there, Power has a nice initiation, but then has a bit of a bobble right after initiation. You can see him slightly correcting. Chelsea gave him some room, but like you said, reeled him in. I think he expected to be faster around outside zone 1, and that was a pretty good assumption to make, a good calculation there. Chelsea does a good job of mimicking what Power's doing in the lead, coming through outside zone 3 to inside clip 1, and right there they both dropped tires, so Chelsea's just mimicking what Power's doing in the lead through the inside clip 1, outside zone 4 area, so you can't really fault Chelsea for chasing and doing what he's supposed to in the chase. Yeah, so I think something that needs to be pointed out is that Mike Power did have an incomplete on run 1, so that sort of gives a huge advantage to Chelsea going into the second run of that battle, but Chelsea did put an exclamation point on it. He got close, mimicked what Power was doing everywhere. Even when Power went offline a little bit, Chelsea said, okay, you're going there, I'm coming with you because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yep, so again, Chelsea Denofa gets the win as he steps onto the scale, see his fight and weight. And Ryan Turk, 30-some-odd points behind the leader, is going against Kyle the Menace Mohan. Ryan Turk, who got the victory at round 1 in Long Beach. And Ryan Turk and that Rain X Toyota GR Corolla, Rockstar energy drink running through his veins. Kyle the Menace Mohan with renewable lubricants running through his rotary, that Mazda RX-8, the Mazda Trix vehicle. And Ryan Turk pulls off.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He was in that Pedal Commander burnout box, and he just steps off. And I did get messages from, and I believe he put in a new engine.
It was I think it was the ring gear. No, what was it now? I can't remember. Something in the transmission had been replaced yesterday.
Well, the hood is popped. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
So I got a message from his crew guy, his crew chief, Biddies, and they're saying fresh engine, ready to party.
Huh.
TBD. Well, right now I'm looking at this with the hood popped, so temps might be rising. Might have a coolant bubble or something like that. That sometimes happens. Just you'd rather be safe than sorry. Pop a whole engine.
It's a pretty fun roof as far as roofs go. Don't agree on Jared. Okay.
Say it again.
I said that's a pretty fun roof as far as roof designs go.
Yeah, I love it. That's our boy Conifer, Ornamental Conifer Race Service. He's a kind of creative artist there. So shout out to the boys at Race Service. And I would assume that with just so many hands on deck, it's going to be a competition timeout.
You can see Kevin in the car on the passenger side there. You see his hat, telltale giveaway that it's Kevin Wells. And he's in there potentially looking at the telemetry box that we have in the cars. But he's there. He has an eye on what's going on. It's pretty hard to get anything by Kevin. He's always there when something's happening like this, and he's going to keep an eye on what you're doing. So, competition timeouts come into play when the team gets their hand on the car. Of course, not here, right off to the side of the burnout box. They would get the car over to a safe space, a place where they,
oh boy.
Maybe that's why the car's not moving, Jared. So the competition timeout has started.
Yeah, so the NGK, sorry to cut you off there. You can see the fluids coming out of Ryan Turk's vehicle, and there's oil in the burnout box. What a this is not what you want. I don't know if the 5 minutes, he's already,
it's already
3 minutes left. This is when you're in contention for the championship.
Oh my God, we'll get the fucking thing on then.
All right, so as we are,
maybe move the microphone a little farther away from.
I mean,
Turk's
this is.
there.
I mean, that's a testimonial to just the emotions right now and what happened. They said they were ready, they're good to go, but obviously not. And this is not ideal for the Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla on Netto tires. You can see just how much this thing is.
So Ryan's in third in the standings right now.
35 points.
35 points back, and this is not looking good for his hopes here today. He's not out yet, but it's just not looking very positive at the moment.
Yep. So I think they're
There's
clarifying.
a conversation about competition
they popped the hood.
starting.
Yeah, exactly. What we're hearing there is they're saying, hey, he pulled out of the burnout box. They popped the hood because they wanted to see if there was a fire.
Right.
And just where there's oil, there's heat, there's all these elements for something pretty bad. So I think they just want to save that. So I'm not for certain if the competition timeout. I mean, we saw the clock going and hands on the car, but.
These remote cameras that get to go into these situations and film these high pressure, high stress situations is fascinating to see behind the scenes and to see how they struggle and how they fight to stay in competition, and sometimes you hear some words that aren't exactly friendly for everybody, but it's the cost, let's say, of being in the moment and being right there and catching these moments, because this is a part of the series. What happens on track is such a big part, and everybody sees that. But seeing behind the scenes, like the stress, the pressure, the challenges that these guys have, it's pretty intense sometimes.
No. They want you to go back to your pit.
Right. Okay. Okay. So for clarification here. What's going on? Okay.
Start their 5 from there.
Okay, can you come down to me?
Yeah, let's go down to Lorette. Lorette, down to you.
With Kevin Wells, can you explain what's happening?
Basically, we were told on the radio to start their 5, so we started their 5. I got over here because obviously the hood was up, but they opened the hood to see if it was on fire because it's leaking oil. So now that they figured it's not on fire, we're going to take it back to their pit, then start the 5.
Okay, thank you so much. So the hood was open to make sure that the car was not on fire, because if it was, obviously they would have had to extinguish it, and it was not on fire, so they are going to go back to their pit. They have a 5-minute. I don't know if there's any damage to the car right now, but there's leaking oil. A little bit of confusion down here. Could you tell me what has been damaged?
Yeah, we had lost the drain line from the turbo, came off the turbo, and essentially left a whole bunch of oil down on the track. So.
Nick, thank you very much. So, guys, that is what's happening down here. I'll find out more updates and keep you in the know as I know.
Absolutely. Some great clarity there from Lorette and the team, and obviously Kevin, FD staff. So just bears repeating. They lifted the hood for a safety issue, and then they said, you know what, no, you get a proper competition timeout. You lifted it because of that. So he will get a dedicated 5-minute allotment from when they take it back to the pits, which I think is fair.
It's definitely fair.
Yeah.
And that's what we like to see here. This is drama that's happening real time. It's not what's going to happen every time, but when it does happen, there's a lot of oil down there. But that clarity, that insight into what happened, that turbo line that came off, it gives you a little bit of hope for the team. It's like, okay, they can fix that in 5 minutes. Maybe they can get that turbo line back on. It's not like there's a hole in the block or transmission exploded or something.
Right.
It's truly something that they have the opportunity to fix. So they're going to take it back there, and the team is going to have their opportunity to do so.
And that's racing. Sometimes it's the nickel part, not the $5,000 part.
Yep.
It's just that fitting that just maybe wasn't tightened completely all the way. So it's kind of good that he did catch it. One, it could have been more disastrous with oil getting on like a manifold. That goes quick, and with that amount of oil, that could have been really bad. So I'm thankful that he's okay, the car's okay. A lot to deal with, a lot on the line here. Again, it was almost all over for Ryan Turk, but clean up here in the burnout box. Let's see how Ryan Turk throws it down. But again, the party continues. And speaking of the party, the K&N party. So join myself and some other Formula Drift drivers over in the pits at the halftime break, the K&N party, with a variety of drivers, including that man, Ryan Turk, Chris Forsberg, Matt Field, a few other drivers, including Larry Chen. He'll be there as well.
And here are 3 tips for amateur drivers. Number 1, driving with better drivers. So if you're trying to progress your skill set, the best way to do that is to definitely be able to drive with guys that are more skilled than you, and also asking questions around the pits. We have an awesome like-minded community out here with a bunch of awesome drivers, and you shouldn't be shy to be asking people for help. Number 2 would be to spend your money in important places. So just because you want something doesn't necessarily mean that that money's being well spent towards what you're trying to do for your progression. So is seat time more important? Are you in need drastically of this new upgrade to step your skill set up? So I think it's very important to dissect that for yourself and then apply your funds kind of where the most efficient way possible. And number 3, this goes without saying, it's just 100% seat time. There's no way you're going to be able to get better unless you're behind the wheel of the car and being able to drive it. All right, guys, that's it for me. If you want more information, hit me at the Throttle app.
All right, well, welcome back. Welcome back here to round 6 of the Formula Drift Championship. I apologize. But the party continues. If you're here in the building, remember, join us over at the Falcon Tire during the halftime break for the driver's autograph session. And Throttle. Throttle is a Ken Gushi meet and greet at Throttle booth at 4 p.m. So you got some time to head on over there. A lot of festivities going down. A beautiful day out here in Monroe, Washington. Evergreen Speedway. I've been coming here since 2006. So it's been quite some time. Is that 16 years, right? 16 years we've been coming here, man. It's a long time. Been out here for quite some time. But we can see our next battle there. We'll see how the scenario of Ryan Turk unfolds. But right now we move on to, you can see how it's shaping up. You can see all our victors. Next up, it is Chris Forsberg and Jonathan Hurst. So, and these guys, that Chris was talking about St. Louis, these guys did battle against each other in St. Louis, but Forsberg was down that cylinder. He's got that GTR engine under the hood of the all-new Nissan Z, and Jonathan Hurst, he went hard in the wall on his first run, but put down one heck of a run on his second. So just basically had to move to that not-so-great A. But Forsberg, his best qualifying finish this season, qualifying 3rd compared to Hurst. That's Paducah, Kentucky, the pride of Paducah in that AZ Rags BMW. One of the loudest cars out here for sure.
And you can see the burnout line that
that's right.
Turk was taking there with all that
kitty litter.
Kitty litter in the burnout box.
It's not literally kitty litter, by the way.
No, it's
slang for the oil absorbent material.
Oil absorbent material.
Tons of horsepower, now just manpower being pushed into the Papadakis Racing pit. Forsberg will lead, Hurst will give chase. All right, hearing a little bit of a dialogue there from the pits. Make sure we're clear to send. And here we go. Three-time champion, Formula Drift, Chris Forsberg, Jonathan Hurst, a rising star here in the Pro Championship. Let's see what we got. The NOS Energy Drink, Nissan Z of Chris Forsberg, initiates into the bank. Let's see Hurst, you can see him gaining closer, gaining some ground. Big angle there from Chris Forsberg. Again, qualifying third. Let's see how he handles the power alley. Into the second outside zone. Into the third, Jonathan Hurst diving in on the inside, tight to that inside clip. Now transitioning into that final outside zone. You can see the attitude of Hurst's car is kind of like right there. Just, you can see kind of swaying back and forth. Good job by Forsberg, and hands are on the car. So just real quick, what we're looking at here, this is now officially getting Ryan Turk's team on the car.
All right, looking at the replay from up in the sky, Jared. Nice flick from Forsberg in the lead there, and you can see not quite a failure to initiate, but definitely an issue on initiation from Hurst in the chase position. And as they come down to the infield here, you can see Hurst getting close at outside zone number 2, and Forsberg sort of misses the second half of that zone. And then as they transition for 3, Hurst falls, Hurst does a little bit better in the second half of that infield area, but definitely an error there on initiation from Hurst. Car didn't look settled. Got the car to slightly angle, but lowered it a little bit, so definitely an issue there at initiation from Hurst.
All right, there is Jonathan Hurst now leading. Forsberg giving chase. They leave the start line. Here we go. The AZ Rags BMW throws it in aggressively. Forsberg gets right to the side of him, has to back off a little bit. You can see getting closer and closer. Big angle there from Hurst in that second outside zone. Forsberg not being shaken. Now into that third outside zone. Through the power alley goes Jonathan Hurst. Forsberg right there. Let's see how they handle his transition. And gets right to the side of him and brings it on home. Big angle there from Hurst.
Big wall hit from Hurst.
Massive wall smash.
Look at the
Hulk
back of that
smash.
car. I know that I think the trunk wasn't on at the beginning of the run, but there was a big crunch in the back left of that car. So I think that was a pretty significant hit from Hurst at outside zone 4. Clearly knowing that he needs to lay down an incredible lead run against Forsberg. So here we go. Initiation. Hurst did better in the lead than he did in the chase on initiation. Forsberg's right there with him around outside zone 1, and you can see that Forsberg's matching the line, matching the angle. Not a lot of movement from Forsberg's car right there. Does a good job of mimicking on 2. Forsberg not as deep in outside zone 3, but Hurst doing a decent job in the lead. And this is the area right here we want to have a look at as Hurst pounds that wall pretty hard with the left rear corner and has a bit of a bobble as he goes over the finish line. So definitely an error from Hurst in that area. Not going to be helping his case here in the lead-to-lead, chase-to-chase comparisons.
All right, so you can see all hands on deck here for Ryan Turk, trying to find that. Make sure there's no oil coming out. That's the vitals right there. And awaiting the outcome here between Forsberg and Hurst. And here it is. Slide him left for Forsberg, right for Hurst. And Chris Forsberg gets the win. Forsberg gets the win in the all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z. All right, down to Lorette. Lorette, what's cooking?
Well, you guys can see that the clock is still running. We're at 1:05. We're at 1 minute right now, and Mario is down here telling everyone, take a breath, guys. It's going to be okay. We have enough time to fix it. It was the line that came loose, and now we're parting the crowds. Ryan never left his car. He was trying to breathe through it, keep calm, and now he's pulling away to do battle, guys.
The crowd erupts here. They want to see a good battle. Some Ryan Turk fans in the building cheering him on, but the pressure mounts. You know, the Rockstar Energy driver of Ryan Turk and his team, again, just spilling oil. If you're just joining us, Ryan Turk was to go against Kyle Mohan, enters the burnout box and quickly exits out and spills oil from that burnout box outside, and hopefully put a few quarts in there, because there was a lot on the track. So we'll go back to Ryan Turk and Kyle Mohan, but right now, Jeff Jones and Brandon Sorensen. Jeff Jones, Brandon, 18 years old, from Las Vegas, Nevada. Jeff Jones from Sun Valley, California, Southern California to be exact. Jones, Evo Auto Works, Nissan 370Z. And Jeff Jones will lead, Sorensen giving chase. Let's see how Jones does. Jones qualified 14th, Sorensen qualified 19th, so fairly equally matched. Jones out of the gate, big swing, and smoke machine turns on. Jones, big angle, Brandon Sorensen, he needs to get involved. He is low and lacking angle. It's Jones now, comes to that second outside zone. Jeff Jones, that head up rock supercharger, takes a wide line, but tightens it back up. That was a crazy good line there from Jones. That was interesting, just it had that wide swing, and I thought he was gonna miss that inside clip. Was wider, and you know, it looked dramatic, but at the end of the day, Brandon just was not part of the equation.
No, you can see right from the get-go here, outside zone 1, Brandon falls back and down as well. So look at initiation. You can see low angle from Brandon early on. He's down in the second lane, basically, way off of outside zone 1, not matching the line, the angle. His proximity isn't great either through that area, so definitely a big miss from Sorensen there. In the lead position, like you were saying, Jeff Jones doing a great job in the lead, added angle going inside clip 1 to get that line kind of tightened in there and made it work. Looked like a great lead run from Jeff Jones. So as we switch positions for them now, Jeff in the chase, match line, match angle, that's going to be a big one. Have more proximity, that's going to give him that advantage that he needs, chase-to-chase comparison. In the lead position, Sorensen has his work cut out for him right now. Jones did a pretty great job up in the lead position.
And just the momentum that Jeff Jones is riding, just even from last year, just he's gained a lot of interest. He's having fun, but he wants to win. He wants to get on the box. Brandon's going to try to get in his way, but he really, as you say, needs to step up here and put down a solid lead run, especially on this big bank. He's got the clean air of that United States Air Force BMW, and he's doing exactly what we had hoped. Ooh, some wavering there. Man, he was flirting with that wall, saying, hey, how you doing? And then, oh, swings wide outside zone 2. And that's where that gets precarious, is that's hard to follow for Jones with him going 2 wheels off. Imagine if this is Atlanta, you go into the dirt or you go off course. Yep. You got dirt, you got grass, you got all these elements, but obviously more forgiving going just beyond and getting to the asphalt. But you saw him explode those candlestick cones, and that just says, hey, I'm way off.
Yeah, those cones are placed 4 feet off the edge of the track, so to hit those, that's at least 1, probably 2 tires off course there for Brandon in that area. And unfortunately for Brandon, Jeff Jones here will get the win.
Jeff Jones gets the win. Jeff Jones getting the victory. Jeff Jones, how are those? How are the chicken tendies? We doing good? Chicken and fries? Are they all right? Thumbs up or thumbs down? We doing all right? No, not liking them, not acknowledging me. Okay, thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Yep, appreciate that. I mean, this isn't Yelp or anything. I mean, not gonna, you know, hold you accountable. All right, there is how the bracket is shaping up. We still have, so Wataru Masayama will go against the winner of Ryan Turk and Mohan, and then 2 more battles after that, Essa and Sceriffo, and Taylor Hull versus Rome Charpentier. All right, next up, we go back to Ryan Turk and Mohan. Was everything buttoned up properly? Like you said, you know, Mario saying everybody take a breath, chill out. Mohan kind of got iced a little bit there as he was ready to run, but Ryan Turk with the oil. Here we go, Ryan Turk, Kyle Mohan. Ryan Turk in contention for the championship, got the win in Long Beach, just had an oil leak. They put in a new engine, ready to party. We will see TBD as he goes against KMR, Kyle Mohan Racing. Ryan Turk, that Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla, Nitto tires, Rockstar energy drink can in the hand, and Kyle Mohan with the lone rotary in Formula Drift competition, renewable lubricants, Mazda Trix RX-8. Can Ryan Turk keep the momentum going as he, again, is going for that championship? He comes into this round of competition sitting third in points, just behind his other Toyota teammate, Frederick Aasbo, and Matt Field leads the pack. So 38 points, and you got to think 100 points at stake for the win, and if you get knocked out here in the 32, that has major implications. Here we go. Ryan Turk out front. Kyle Mohan in the chase position. Ryan Turk initiates that Toyota GR Corolla, and looks like he is doing exactly what he needs to do. Hammering down that Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla into that second outside zone, into the third. Here comes Mohan. Turk with a wide swing, and there's that line. He hangs it out there, tightens it back up into that final outside zone. Goes Ryan Turk. A brand new father, him and his wife at home, Shannon, and his son Roman watching, cheering him on from New Hampshire. And here, let's take a look at it again.
All right, looking at the replay from the sky, we're going to get a great view of how these cars are moving around. You can see some wavering from Kyle Mohan early on there, and there's a pretty big gap between Ryan Turk in the lead and Mohan in the chase. Turk almost gets out to outside zone 2, does a good job on 3. Mohan misses 3. Again, not really in proximity, slightly gaining, but not really getting as close as we'd like to see there in the chase position. Turk put his car in most of the right spots there. You can see he wasn't quite as wide in outside zone 2 as we'd like, but great job on 1, 3, and 4. So Mohan, what does he have to do in the lead now? He needs to be high on 1, 2, 3, 4. He has to do as good as Ryan Turk did in his lead or better. So his one opportunity, sorry, would be outside zone 2, which is really the only spot that Turk missed on his lead run. And Turk in the chase now needs to be close, needs to be matching that angle and the line.
Fluidity, I think that's what's going to happen, what needs to happen for Kyle Mohan, just keeping it fluid, but you need to start strong. It's kind of like bookends, you got the bread, you kind of got the outside zone 1 where you start, and you got outside zone 4, right? In between, just make it good, make it meaty, but it really, you don't really have a sandwich if you don't start with 2 pieces of bread. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just hungry, I guess.
Yeah,
like Jared says, let's eat.
Let's eat.
Here we go. Kyle Mohan is going to throw it down. Where is Ryan Turk? You see Mohan, looked like Ryan Turk was maybe kind of saying, hey, I'm going to pedal back here and see how it happens, but might have given him some, whoa, buddy. That might have, again, don't want to make claims.
Wow.
Mohan goes obviously off course. Let's take a look at it. Get that overhead view. Ryan Turk applies the pressure. Okay, let's back that one up. Let's back some craziness just happened there. I was like, look over, and I felt like he was at the start line when. Yeah, what do you think? What's your take?
Well, what I really loved was Turk, the way he dove in from zone 2 to 3 and got so close to Mohan there. Didn't make contact, I don't think, but stayed with him. It was incredible. Like you said, Turk in the beginning left a lot of space. He knew that he was faster than Mohan around outside zone 1. He gave him the space, but he reeled him in all the way. By the end of outside zone 1, he was in that proximity that we want him to be in. And there you see Mohan 3, I think for sure. So 3 for sure, potentially even 4. That 4th tire maybe on the line. But the way that Turk just adjusted in the chase position there was really, really strong. So unfortunately for Mohan, he'll get an incomplete on that outside zone 2 area for dropping 3 tires. Ryan Turk just put his car in all the right places, gained that proximity by the end of outside zone 1, and stuck it to him through the rest of the track.
And what I thought was a good approach was that it was a good defense. It was a good defensive strategy. So we're seeing, again, that angle, you definitely see 3, but that front right, regardless, 3 off, that's an incomplete, unchaseable lead run. That's what it really comes down to. So it's kind of a moot point because he did go 3 off, and that was absolutely for certain. So. And here we go, slide him left for Turk, right for Mohan. I think you know the outcome, unfortunately, for Mohan, but stoked for Ryan Turk getting the car back together. He did use his NGK competition timeout. Look at that, my man right there, he's ready. That Baywatch, he's ready. If somebody's drowning, needs mouth to mouth, my man right there's got you.
Where's the closest beach?
I don't know. There's the over there.
Over that way.
Yeah. Well, he's a Baywatch. Where's the closest bay?
Bay, yeah.
Or like Salt Bay, or like Bay. Are you my Bay?
Move on, Jared.
Okay, here we go. Congratulations, Ryan Turk. He gets the win and moves on. He'll be going against Wataru Masayama in the top 16 as the Rockstar Energy Drink top 32. Michael Essa versus Federico Sceriffo. All right, so again, we are seeing a lot of parties in the pits. Ken Gushi meet and greet at the throttle booth at 4 p.m. Falcon Tire, they got a party going on during the halftime break. And Federico Sceriffo, he'll be joining me over at the K&N halftime party as well. Here we go. Michael Essa, FCP Euro, Liqui Moly, Bilstein, BMW, and the Fiorella, the Ferrari. Whoa, look at Essa dragging bumper on the wall. Let's see how Essa throws down. Just riding that track edge. Oh boy. Almost went into the side of the BMW, but these guys both, look at these European monsters right now. Absolute weapons. Michael Essa currently 17th in the standings coming into this round 6.
Essa did a great job in the infield, putting that left rear tire right on the line and outside zone 2. Nice transition to 3. Really nicely done from Essa in the lead. And let's look at it from the sky here to get every little nuance that we can. Essa nice and wide on outside zone 1. You can see him high all the way to the wall. In the chase position there, Sceriffo very consistent on proximity, not as close as we'd like to see, but very consistent. You can see Sceriffo dives in there, misses outside zone 3, but takes that opportunity to build proximity. Unfortunately, he has to kind of reel it back because he gets a little too close too quick and loses proximity again through to the finish line.
And you could see just a kind of an exhale, right? You can kind of feel it, you can kind of hear it just coming from those gentlemen. Just the exhale of relief that they made it into the top 16. So that's great for them. All right, here we go. The second half of this battle, Federico Sceriffo and Michael Essa. Let's see how the Ferrari 599 GTB does. Oh man, looking good. Good angle from Fetty. And now Michael Essa. You can see that proximity there. How is Essa going to handle this? The Ferrari with the swing in front of the BMW. Looks like Essa joins the party, gets that proximity now coming across. And they crawl across the finish line. I mean, what's your take?
Well, Federico looks like he did a good job on outside zone 2 and 3, but coming into the deeper part of the infield there, had a hesitation going to outside zone 4, but Essa adapted really well to it. So let's look at it again from the sky. You can see Federico higher than he was in the chase here in the lead, getting nice and tight up on the wall there in the chase position. You can see Essa a little bit closer than Federico was on his chase. And right here you see Federico angle up really big there, kind of a bit of a decel, misses outside zone 3. But right here is where the major problem happened for me. You can see there's a hesitation from Federico. Maybe it's a desire to not go all the way to the wall there, but Essa adjusts really nicely in the chase position.
All right, there it is. Michael Essa gets the win. And he is greeted not by Travis Reeder at Walmart, but he will be greeted by the winner of our next battle. While we get prepared for our last and final battle, I'm going to bring a special guest. But before that, I throw it down to my homegirl, Lorette Nickel. Lorette, what's up?
Jared, thank you. You know I had to get a word with Ryan Turk, and a lot of adversity there. Turbo drain line came loose is what Sean told me. There was no damage.
No damage, no. Caught it in time, just it happened in a burnout box, so we had time to fix it. And I gotta say, hats off to my team. We only got one lap of practice, had to do an engine, and they got it done just in time for us to run out there and find out we still had an oil leak. So they got it fixed, and I'm just happy we're moving on and kind of got that out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a lot of chaos, a lot of movement around your car, a lot of emotion. So in that moment, how do you just break it down and take a breath?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Just just kind of sit in the car and blank everything out. Definitely take a few deep breaths and try to just focus on. I had to go back to yesterday as far as my practice and qualifying to really try to get my feeling of driving behind the wheel again.
All right. Well, congratulations on your win. We're going to see you in top 16, guys. Ryan Turk.
Thank you so much, Lorette Nickel. As Ryan Turk, like I said, breathing that sigh of relief. There you go. Look at the smile says it all. Joining me up here in the booth, we have one more battle. We got Taylor Hull and Rome Charpentier. But joining me up in the booth, 2011 Formula Drift champion Daijiro Yoshihara. Yoshihara, what's cracking, dude?
Good to see you guys.
Likewise.
It's been a while.
I saw some fans. They were stoked to see you here. You can hear them out there. And make some noise for Yoshihara. You hung up your helmet in the Formula Drift world, but you're still a busy man. You're doing demos with Pit and Paddock, your BRZs here, your AE86 here. What else are you doing, man?
That's about it for today.
No, I mean, I know today, but you're a busy man.
Speaks, like time attacks, and still driving, and still try to see everybody here.
Yeah.
So today, we are here for the ride-along experience. I wanted to thank Formula Drift for giving us the time for that, and I think everybody really happy about it.
Absolutely,
and hopefully we can do this more often in other FD rounds.
I love it. Yeah, the Pit and Paddock BRZ, if you haven't seen it, it's over in the car show. The 86, what's under the hood of the 86? Because it is 86 day, by the way.
It's a FK8 Civic Type R engine.
Sick. I like it.
Please come out to check it out.
Yeah, high fives and handshakes from 2011 Formula Drift champion Daijiro. Dai, stick around. You haven't been up here in the booth that much because you've had success and stuff.
You know, I've
a couple
been busy
times.
with the competing, so maybe today I can just watch.
Are you trying to gun for my job, Dai?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I can do that.
Well, I'm not gunning for yours, but all right. So kind of be a judge. You're not judging like officially, but I want you to scrutinize after this. Okay, here we go. Taylor Hall, that Comp Cam's Corvette looks like. No, just lay out. Just hold on. Dai's getting so anxious. He's like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? I said, relax. Just relax. Just be Dai Yoshihara.
All right.
So unfortunately, there was a strike there, and was a cone hit, or did he leave the line early? Get clarification over here. But our three judges, Ryan Lantain, Brian Eggert, and Chris Yule. What do you think of the Seattle track? Do you like this track or hate it?
This is one of my best, favorite tracks.
Okay.
Yes.
Scoot closer so we can get your pretty face up there.
Seattle, and this is the fastest bank track that you guys have. And I think a lot of driver likes this.
Yeah. Actually, I hate to bring it up. You had one of your worst crashes, one of the worst crashes ever at this track when you debuted that Lexus. You could see that opening when you go initiate actually at the one cone. Yeah, you rode off a car. That car is hanging at Discount Tire, half of it.
I thought I was dying that time.
Yeah, it was a rough one, man. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're here with us. Here we go. Back to the action. Taylor Hull, Comp Cams, Edo Brock, Corvette. And goes across the nose of Rome Charpentier and his garage BMW, but not thrown off are either the drivers. Taylor Hull high on the bank. Rome Charpentier drops down a little bit lower, but you can see him sliding back now, coming into that second outside zone, into that power alley. Rome Charpentier taking a shallower line into outside zone 3 now. Into that inside clip goes Taylor Hull. Full pole, Taylor Hull. And Rome Charpentier bringing it across. What do you think of that swing in front of the nose of Rome there? Was that clean? Because we saw it earlier between Dean and Yves Meyer.
That's a tough one.
Yeah?
But I think the follow guy has to deal with it anyways, right?
Yeah. We saw this earlier, so take a look at it again.
Yeah.
You'll see Rome, he's pretty close,
he
can't get in the way.
I know. It's tough, but...
Unfortunately, there's no contact.
Right, yeah. And then Taylor did really good lead run. And I think Rome followed really well too, up until coming into the infield. And he got a little bit like a shallow line.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was decent.
Decent, yeah, you could see Rome missing that third outside zone. Look, it's all good, dude. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I got a couple beers in, so to me it looks fine.
You're not driving anymore.
I'm not driving.
You know, I love that you said that, because I come in with the judges, Brian Eggert, Ryan Lantain, his lovely wife Brittany, and I said, there's some days where I come to an event and I just don't want to work. This is work. There's some days where I just want to be like, nah, I quit. Give me a beer. I just want to watch an event and hang out. This is one of those events, man. There's some events where the stars align, the weather, the people, the vibe, all that, and we're feeling the energy right now. Here we go. Back to the second half of this battle. Rome Charpentier, Garagistic, BMW E36, Taylor full pole, Hoy that chase position. Oh man, we need Taylor Hull to gain that proximity. Rome with the clean air. Oh! Shreds that back bumper, goes and exceeds the track. Taylor Hull getting a bunch of shrapnel in his face. That's gonna be all up in his wearing his beard right now. He's got that, got the Willie's beard gear. Taylor Hall, nice job. I mean, Rome, he went into it kind of pushed. Yeah, he pushed, but he kind of went into it late. That was kind of interesting position there. All right, let's take a look at it again here. What's going through your mind? How do you think Rome was with the clean air?
It was great up until the end of the bank.
Yeah.
He tapped the wall, but I see the front wheel was into the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Which means I'm just there right there.
Yeah.
So
that's how difficult is that to follow for Taylor? You know what I'm saying? Because here's Rome. He gets to the wall. How difficult is that for Taylor to follow?
When he tapped the wall?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. But at the point, I think he's committing anyways. So there's nothing he can do. And he didn't slow down, so Taylor didn't have any issue.
Yeah. And there it is.
Then he
Proof positive. Taylor Hull gets the victory again. He got some of Rome Charpentier's BMW all up in his Wild Willie's beard. He's sponsored by Wild Willie's. Di, anything else you want to add, man? Follow you, smash that like button, subscribe, swipe up.
That too, and also I'll be hanging out at the car show area. Okay. Pete and Paddock having a car show right there, and I have a booth out there. So please come out and then check out my 8086 and BRZ, and I will meet you guys out there.
High five. Di, what do you make of these brackets right here? Predictions, who's going to win the event? Who do you think? Because guess what? You're not a judge. You're not driving. You're not competing.
Yeah.
Make some claims, bro. Like you said, you've had a couple beers right now. What are you feeling?
Okay, man. There's
$5
so many
let's
good
go.
drivers right now.
Come on, put it out there.
Dude. Well, I was thinking like Taguchi will do well because he won. He got first qualifier, but he's not here anymore.
Because we get Taguchi out.
Unfortunately, so
think about our points lead. We got Matt Field. He goes against Pawlak. You got Ryan Turk going against Masayama. Aasbo versus Gushi.
Tough one,
Look,
dude.
Forsberg versus Jones.
Oh my God, I can't really say.
Ever since you left, there's been more people showing
it's
up.
so competitive right now.
Anybody.
Seriously, anybody can get it. So, yeah, good luck, guys. I will just keep drinking beer and then enjoy your driving right here.
I love it. I love you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm glad you can show up with us and have some fun. 2011 Formula Drift champion Daijiro Yoshihara's in the building. Pit and Paddock. Go join him. Turn 14 distribution. You'll see Dai over in the pits. High fives and handshakes, and maybe buy him a beer. We'll see.
Yeah,
this is round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. We'll be back local time at 5 o'clock. Guess what? That's only in 2 hours. So don't go anywhere. The hot action continues here. Top 16 in 2 hours. And remember, hashtag FDSEA. I'm Jared Deanna, Ryan Montagne, Chris Yule, Brian Egger, and Dai Yoshihara. The party continues here at Evergreen. We got contact there.